I can't wait.
Exactly.
Hey, we're streaming.
It's been
Okay.
RogersBase all along. It's been
Okay.
RogersBase all along.
Whoops. I had my Twitch audio up.
No,
You're
that was
all
great.
good.
I was
You're gonna hear it
like,
twice.
yeah, I was like, wow, he's singing it again. And then I'm like, but he's also eating at the same time.
How is that
It's
possible?
like, I
But you know
didn't
what
know
this is?
he was a
Did we just-
ventriloquist.
We
Did you
just
see
had
someone-
dinner before we got started. And so we have, Reagan always makes me a birthday cake for my birthday. And she had enough because we got like a grocery thing from Amazon Fresh. And we had all these leftover lemons. So she had enough to make a birthday cake and a lemon pie. And
nice.
so I'm eating birthday cake and lemon pie. This is just
Wow.
lemon pie, though. It's with some Ready Whip
That's
on
living
it.
it up for your birthday.
Yeah,
That's lit it up. That's
Diet
it.
like that, you might not make 40. I'm gonna tell you that one right now.
Hey, it's been a good 31 years. You know,
Yeah,
it's
there
fine.
Did you see that someone took that song from episode 7 and recreated it in Animal Crossing?
Animal Crossing.
Yes.
It's amazing.
It's so
it looks
good.
so good.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Everybody
all right,
ready?
Tim. Yeah.
I'll count it down and
All
get us
right.
going here. All right. 3, 2. Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 317, recorded on March 11th, 2021. On tonight's episode, we discuss a couple weeks of topics with our special guest, RogersBase, like Sakura's breakdown of the latest Smash characters and updates, Pokemon's 25th anniversary and 7-minute Pokemon Presents video, and the never-ending Switch Pro rumors. Jesse, you know what to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to episode 317 of Nintendo Dads. Today, I am the driver of this dumpster fire of a podcast that you're listening to right now, but man, am I excited, because in this dumpster fire, I got 3 of the coolest people around the internet. Of course, behind the soundboard, making all of us sound amazing every single day, Jesse Waldack. Jesse, how are you, pal?
Good. I'm surprised that I was able to do that flawlessly, having a week off. You know, take 1 week off and you'll just forget everything you know.
Yeah, I mean, you had the week off, but I think I distinctly sent you a message that you didn't, and I just wanted you to keep hitting that button, repeating it. You got to keep that muscle memory in, so everyone else could take the week, but you couldn't.
There you go.
Got it. Okay, that's why I did that.
That's exactly it. Of course, the man who never questions why he's here, but questions bigger things about his life in general, Mr. Timothy Off. Tim, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful and thankful that I'm here, obviously, every Thursday to talk some games with you guys. And just wanted to show you guys what I'm sporting today. A Nintendo Red Yankees hat to
Very
represent
nice.
you know who.
Wow.
I told him I would never wear one, but Bobby, if you're watching, I got one.
Nice. That boy. Nice job. Well done. Well done. And of course, the third voice that you hear in that wonderful panel with us as well, one of our favorite guests, I think probably our most seen guest, our most returning guest, probably has the most
makes sense.
checks. Yeah, Mr. Of course, RogersBase. Roger, how are you?
What is going on? I'm doing great. Obviously, I'm right there with Tim. We greatly miss Bobby. I feel like I'm glad we were able to move the show around and everything. It was obviously devastating hearing the news. So, Bobby, this show is dedicated to you today. We love you, buddy. And I will rewatch all of Hamilton and Animal Crossing again tonight because of you. So
there you go. Nice. Excellent. Yeah. So we're so excited. Of course. Yeah. As Roger mentioned, able to move our schedule around for Bobby. And I think this is a really great opportunity to actually kind of just sit in this pocket and just say, maybe actually, Jesse, if we can cue down the music, that'd be great for that one. Obviously, folks, last week we didn't have a show. We talked about the passing of Bobby Pauls, a Nintendo guru, a really good friend of ours. I want to just say on behalf of the entire community, Nintendo Dads, and everyone around, obviously, how much we are hurt by this and saddened. But I also want to say thank you for our community, because just the amount of respect and distance and ability for that they have given us, but also checking in and saying, "Are you okay? How are you doing? If you need an ear, let's chat." We appreciate that. We really appreciate the love that we felt. I know not only for our community, but so many people that Bobby connected with.
Absolutely.
And so many communities he was involved with. And so we're so thankful for you and the respect that you have for us to allow us to have that time to grieve in our own way, as we will continue to grieve for months and move forward. But yeah, we greatly appreciate that.
absolutely. He was like such a pillar of the Nintendo community. Like, honestly, Bobby, everybody I've ever talked to in regards to Nintendo Guru, right?
Yeah.
Is that like He was one of the most welcoming guys,
Yeah.
always willing to listen on literally any topic, and he's never been afraid to like push your buttons. And he's
Yeah.
somebody that like I always enjoyed talking to because I always knew we were going to get into it by the end of the discussion in a good way, obviously, in a good way.
Oh,
but I feel like those are the best kind of discussions when you're always at each other's heads and you're looking to pull something out of the other person. So
he really was kind of like a larger than life character.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, stature wise, he was a big fella. He almost kind of reminds me of something like a John Goodman or John Candy or Chris Farley. Just that like high energy, enthusiasm, anchor, fun, and just amazing. But yeah, and that's a great point, Roger. I love the fact that him and I would disagree. Like the disagreements were there. Oh yeah. But it wasn't like I hate you, you're dumb, and I don't see your opinion. But it's like, no, I'm going to challenge you on that. Like I don't think that's right. But he was so great. But yeah, deeply missed. It was very interesting, actually, guys, as we come before we transition off that. I was playing Animal Crossing recently, and on the left-hand corner, it popped up and said Nintendo Guru is online.
Oh.
And I think someone is using his Switch. Like I think one of the family members is using his Switch or something.
Sure.
And so it was just this weird draw for a second.
Oh man.
And I was like, man, that was weird. But yeah, I think that was exactly what it was. I think a family member had his Switch and was playing with it or maybe celebrating Bobby in some way.
I don't know. I think he knew you were playing Animal Crossing. He wanted to send a message via his family.
Yeah, I was like, this is so weird.
Like, I'm still watching you.
And then did you guys go to his Dream Island?
I haven't yet.
His Dream Island? I haven't been to his Dream Island yet.
Yeah, that was cool to do that. So.
Oh man,
that's one of those weird things about something like that game, right? Where you can literally like, sad as we are, I mean we are, but like we can kind of go back and see that thing that he created.
Yeah,
and that would be like, man, that feels like that screams of Bobby, right? He's talked about these, like, so I think it's a very interesting kind of touchstone. And again, it's so interesting how video games is that touchstone for us. It's that relationship. It's the connective tissue that brought us together. I would have never met Bobby or been in his circle had I not played a video game. Like that's the weirdest thing. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like
absolutely.
It's so interesting. So
absolutely.
But I digress, folks. Again, thank you so much for your love and support for us, for the community, and for Bobby. We greatly appreciate it. Gentlemen, let's jump back into the news. And of course, Tim, who's the news brought to us by?
From our Patreons. They always donate to us or subscribe to us every month, and it helps us to keep the lights on, as we like to say, but afford us to do some of the things that we do for the community and to do review games and all that kind of stuff. So we're always grateful for that. And
I want to give a big shout out to Liam and where is it? Jesse and Liam. Congratulations. Thank you very much for being our latest Patreon subscribers. I greatly appreciate that. They are joining the over 100 subscribers who support us every single month, keep us ad free.
Very nice.
I'm sure there's more too, since we missed a week.
I think so. If we missed you, I apologize. Just ping me later and be like, you missed me, and we will definitely get you next week. I apologize. You know what? Actually, apologize. Trey, Ricardo, West Side Cougar. Wow, that's awesome. Intigot. There's a couple in here, so I apologize. I did miss a couple.
And there's some too different from their Discord names, so that's why it's like I can call them out by their Discord names, but it won't be their Patreon names, and vice versa. So
exactly.
But that's awesome. We got a bunch of people that joined, and they always come in and say the same thing. Hey, either they've been listening to us for a long time and they finally decided to make the plunge, or they heard about us and wanted to come in and chit chat in their Discord community.
Wow. And it's amazing. You can also subscribe to us on Twitch, just like a RogersBase just did, to get into this amazing.
I was like, don't bring it up. I saw that it was on there, and I was like, oh yeah, I don't subscribe to you guys on Twitch, so I hit the subscribe button.
You're very kind. Well, thank you. But yeah, we appreciate everyone who's jumped in. Guys, man, 2 weeks, there has been a lot of news. Now, a lot of it we would have already covered.
A lot of it.
Before we start, Tim, can you find Bobby's dream address? And we can put it in the chat.
Yeah.
That's
good call.
Great. That's great.
Good call.
Thank you. That's a great call. 2 weeks, kind of like news has been piling up. So some of these things you're like, this happened a while ago, but let's still talk about it. And I'm so happy that Roger's here because he hits like 2 of these points. Actually, he hits all these points because Roger is amazing.
Aegis with me right here. I'm ready to go.
Right.
I just got my Pokeballs over here. I'm good.
Now you've got the Switch Pro behind you as well that Nintendo has sent you, right? Don't give me that one.
I cannot confirm nor deny any rumors or speculation as a Nintendo brand ambassador. So
there you go. Ooh, wow, right. Hey, Roger. So let's start off with this. Pyra and Mythra came to Smash. They're in there now. Sakurai did a reveal. I'd love to hear your debrief and thoughts on kind of both his reveal, which I think he did. Again, it was at his house, almost 35 minutes long.
Sure.
And now they're in the game, playable. Roger, I'm going to just throw it to you.
Please. Yeah. So I mentioned this back when Smash Ultimate was first coming out, before we even had DLC. During that very last presentation, I don't know if you guys remember, it was where we got Incineroar and Ken, and then we got Piranha Plant as the surprise final reveal of that initial base roster. And right before the Piranha Plant reveal, Sakurai had shown a bunch of assist trophies. So you saw Shadow, Isaac, all these other characters that people thought, oh, maybe that's going to be the last character. And then finally he goes, and we're doing a challenger pass and yada, 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 all this stuff. So I'm going, great, DLC. I don't see Rex and Pyra. That means, they might be in the game. I'm not seeing it. They had just shown Springman, by the way, right before that too. So I'm like, okay, it's not going to be an ARMS character. And then Sakurai brings up, you know what? It's a little too late in development. We're not going to get a Xenoblade character, but here's a Rex Mii costume. And I saw the Rex Mii costume and I thought in my brain, that doesn't write off Pyra and Mythra. At least we could still get Pyra and Mythra. And then, of course, he shows all the Xenoblade spirits. And at that time, Min Min wasn't in the game. So when you see a spirit, basically just meant they were deconfirmed. And I sat there with my Aegis. It's one of my favorite live reactions on my YouTube channel. Just no! Almost sobbing. Because I love Xenoblade. I've always been such a huge fan of this game. And Xenoblade 2 in particular is one of my favorite RPGs of all time. And so I just really, really, really badly wanted Pyra and Mythra in the game. So then jump to, obviously, a couple weeks ago. You get that reveal trailer. We knew going into that direct that there was going to be a Smash announcement in it. So as soon as I saw the not actual gameplay footage on the bottom of the screen, I went, oh my gosh, this is going to be something Smash related. And then before you even see Rex, as soon as I saw Argentum coming out of the clouds, I got up and started screaming, Pyra! What? Rex and Pyra? And then I see Rex and he says Pyra's not there. And I'm going, okay, Pyra's by herself. Are they actually going to do this? And then you see Pyra. She's like, I got the Smash invitation. Nobody cares about you, Rex. Ha, boom. You see Mythra. I start losing my mind. I'm screaming. I ended up breaking these headphones. They were broken. They were broken. Because what happened is the connector, the audio connector in here is hardwired into the headphone. Okay. So when I was jumping all around, goofing off all over the place, I literally ripped the audio connector with the additional little dongle from the outside of my headphones. So the headphones were gone. And I was live streaming at the beginning of this direct. I had 50 minutes I had to get through, and I'm going, my headphones are broken. What am I going to do? Yep. So I had to hook up to my Bluetooth. I mean, you can go back and watch that live reaction, but I was jumping all over the place. I was losing my mind. It was very good. Josh was making fun of me on Facebook Messenger afterwards saying, you got to tell Nintendo, stop putting in the characters that you want to put in the game. I want a different character in there. But really, I was thrilled, man. Seeing Pyra and Mythra, I understand it's another anime sword character, yada, yada, yada. But as you guys have probably seen after playing them, not only do they play very differently from a lot of the other sword characters in the game, they don't feel like a Fire Emblem type, regular standard anime RPG character. But we got another girl. We have 2 new girls in the cast. That's awesome. We needed some more girls, so I'm happy. And who better than Pyra and Mythra? So.
Yeah, and I would kind of agree with you. And I was like, I like Xenoblade. I played it a bit. Enjoy it. I'm not a huge fan, but I know the characters, know the lore a bit. But I was kind of the reaction. I actually thought they were faking us out because they've done a really good job faking us out for a lot of stuff. So I thought maybe DLC. Turns out to be it. And I was like, and very much sword, anime.
Sure.
However, I thought the ability to switch between the two was I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
How that was implemented. And then when to actually watch Sakurai's kind of presentation and saying one is more powerful, one is more speed. I was like, oh wow, there's a lot of more, it changes your play style. And I will tell you, I actually think they may be my new mains.
They're awesome.
They are really, really good. It feels powerful.
You had to balance 2 characters with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was really, really shocked. It was awesome, I thought.
Especially being able to switch, but like when you've got the really good frame data with Mythra, where you can go in and deal a lot of damage and then switch on the fly between Pyra, do massive damage, literally KO them and just switch back to Mythra. It feels very fluid in a way that I think Zelda and Sheik never did in Melee. You know, we had this mechanic where they would switch, but it always took so long to go between Zelda and Sheik. Like you'd click down B and they would go like dun 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 dun, and then she'd be Sheik. And it felt like, I mean, I know it wasn't 5 seconds, but it felt like 5 seconds, especially when you're in the middle of like a really, you know, hard, tough battle.
It was more than 3 frames.
Easily. Oh, yeah, definitely. It was definitely more than 3
Anything
frames.
more than 3 frames feels like it'll take forever to go through.
And so this feels almost instant. You could use it like a spot dodge. If you're like, you know something's going to happen, you swap, go to the next character, avoid them, and slice in with Pyra. It feels great. Their stage is awesome. The music they included is really good. They feel great. And it's another girl. Like I said, they check every box for me on the roster. And, you know, the few characters that I wanted in the game going into Ultimate, like dating back to when we got that very first trailer, right, of the Inkling looking up at the sun and everything changed that day 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
3 years ago. Yeah. A couple days ago, 3 years ago. So, you know, for me, when that day happened, then I was thinking of characters that I wanted in the game. There were a couple that came to mind. I said Isabelle for sure. I love Animal Crossing. I want Isabelle. I want King K. Rool. I want them to finally address the giant alligator in the room. I want King K. Rool. I want Banjo and Kazooie, but I know there's no chance of it happening. And of the newer characters, God, would I love Pyra from Xenoblade. Those were the 4. Those were my fab 4. Those 4 right there. King K. Rool, Banjo, Pyra, and Isabelle. And I got Isabelle, King K. Rool, Banjo, and Pyra. So literally every other character over the course of this has just been icing on the cake. Really. I mean, getting Sephiroth, which is something I never thought could even happen, but that's something obviously I was superbly happy about. Seeing Joker from Persona get in. I mean, this game is the best game ever made. It's my hands down the best Smash game ever made. Hands down, no debate. I know there's some Melee lovers out there. I don't care. Melee lovers, take a hike. All right, it's Ultimate all day, every day.
So I'm gonna ask you this then, Roger. I think there's a great kind of question or commentary in our chat here as well. Then and of course, who's next then?
So I have a very strong prediction. I'm going to say this. So you know how in the Sakurai Presents we got the Capcom costumes. We got Monster Hunter, pretty much deconfirming Monster Hunter with the Mii Fighter, and then Arthur from Ghosts and Goblins. By the way, very cool. Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection. We'll talk about it later. But anyway, you get those characters. That says to me, most likely we're not going to get another Capcom character. So I'm going to write off Dante, pretty much all the other ones right now. I want Phoenix Wright really badly. I don't think it's going to happen at this point. So I'm just going to put that aside. Okay. Remove Capcom from it. The final character, if what Sakurai said is true, and these are the actual last 2 that they're doing of the fighter passes, the last character's got to be big, right? It's got to be big. There are truly only 2 characters I could think of that would fit that final box, and that's Sora from Kingdom Hearts and Master Chief from Halo. Those 2 right there are the absolute biggest I could think of, internet-shattering type character reveals that they could do. So I think one of the 2 of them is probably the last one. So that leaves this like weird open box for number 5 that's coming up.
I'm still rooting for Konami Man from like the old track and field game.
Konami Man would be cool. But I'm thinking about stuff that's happening this year. And I'm thinking about things that were not in the base game of Smash Ultimate that Sakurai is rectifying with this DLC. There wasn't a lot of Xenoblade 2 music. He rectified that with this. ARMS and Xenoblade 2 were both a little too new. He rectified it, right? We only had like 4 Final Fantasy VII tracks, Sephiroth, and all the Final Fantasy VII stuff. He's doing this with every single one of all the different franchises that are in the game. There is one franchise, one major franchise that barely has any remixes in this game, doesn't have any new stages, only has 2 rehash stages, and didn't even bring back, they brought back like the one from Wii U that wasn't even that good. I think the next character, the 5th character, is going to be a Sonic character. And here's who I think it's going to be. Sonic is the only other major third-party franchise I could think of right now that's not Capcom that I think could have a character in the game that already is a pre-existing franchise that could really make waves in terms of a recognizable, huge character. And there's 2 right now that I'm thinking of. There's Dr. Eggman, which could play up on all the villain stuff they've been doing with this game. You know, Sephiroth, King K. Rool, all these characters getting their own villain trailers. Could be that. Or they could go with Tails. because Tails is very recognizable. Tails is the Luigi to Sonic's Mario. Tails has starred in his own games before. Tails doesn't have, I mean, they have spirits in the game, but realistically, again, spirits don't deconfirm anything. And when you look at the way that Tails can play and the interesting things he could do with him, and the fact that this year is the Sonic anniversary, and the anniversary game that was going to get announced last year that got delayed due to COVID is getting announced this year, and there's a second Sonic movie in development, and Sega obviously has a good relationship with Nintendo, it is wild to me that there's only one Sonic character with no remixes in a game in which we have two, not just Final Fantasy characters, but Final Fantasy VII characters. And so I really strongly believe number 5 is going to be a Sonic character. And like I said, I think it could go 50-50 right now. I think it's Eggman or I think it's Tails. I think if it's Eggman, I could see them doing something similar to Bowser Jr., where, you know, Bowser Jr. is in his little clown car. And I could see it being where the base form would be Eggman in like the classic circle mech that he floats around in, and that all his side B moves summon the different mechs from the different games. So he does his down B and he gets the legs from Sonic 2 and then shoots a rocket. You know, he gets his up B and he gets the little propellers. His side B's maybe the drill arms and the little, you know, circular balls from Sonic 1 and Sonic 2. So I think they could do something really interesting there with like a character in a mech. Whereas with Tails, I think one, you get another really fast character, light character that it's more of a brawler character, not a sword fighter character. They could potentially add like the guns and all the different abilities that Tails has, the different mechs. And I just think the options are there for either a brawler or a gunner type character when we already have so many sword characters that have been added with DLC. And again, they're iconic. And I can sort of already see the trailer in my head, right? I mean, we just got Sephiroth right before Pyra and Mythra. Yeah. And we already have that classic bum, 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 you know, with the heroes and the villains. I wouldn't be surprised, I should say, if we see in addition to that with Cloud and Sephiroth, you get another extra little bum on the very end of the chord, screen cuts out, and then you hear, ha, 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 Sonic, the time is now. And then you see it's actually the whole thing has been on a screen of Eggman's, right? The Death Egg or something. And he goes on this whole thing about wanting the Chaos Emeralds and stealing it from Sonic, yada, yada, yada. And then I could actually even see Sakurai doing like a little bit of a fake out, a little bit of a punk fake. Well, what we end up seeing is you think it's Eggman. The whole trailer goes on. He's like, oh, I'm stealing the Chaos Emerald, all this stuff. And Eggman shows up and he's in his mech. And he's on the Death Egg, and he's going, Sonic, this is it. I'm stealing your Smash invitation. And right as he's about to shoot Sonic, Tails flies in, steals the invitation, stands down with Sonic, and he's like, you're not going anywhere. And they take down Eggman.
Kind of like
and
what
then
they
it
did
gets
with
revealed.
the SNK invite.
Exactly, where they're stealing the invites. And then you get revealed that not only is Tails the character, but the stage involves Dr. Eggman, that Dr. Eggman is the stage hazard of whatever the stage is. Because I don't necessarily see Tails being a stage hazard, but I see Dr. Eggman being one. And I could see them doing something similar to Dr. Wily with the Mega Man stage. And basically implementing Dr. Eggman in the background of like a Death Egg or some other type of Dr. Eggman laboratory facility, maybe even like chemical plant zone. There's so many iconic Sonic areas they could do. I could see them putting, Dr. Eggman in there, having his different mechs, having him be the background hazard, and then again, Tails stealing away his invitation, and that'll be that. So I strongly believe Sonic.
When you mentioned the Sonic franchise, Mecha says, or Rouge. Oh, wait, Smash is for good boys and girls. Like
right, I don't think Rouge is getting in there.
Yeah, Rouge and Mai will hide in the corner.
Rouge and Mai can hide in the corner. That's right. Exactly. And, you know, you bring up Rouge, and that's the other thing, too, is, again, thinking about all the things that Sakurai's trying to rectify with this DLC, right? Not only is there sort of a lack of really good Sonic remixes, and a Sonic stage that doesn't just look like a stereotypical Green Hill Zone or Windy Hill Zone, especially when there's so many cool environments in the Sonic franchise they could do with outer space and with chemical plants, Aquapolis, you know, all these other places. I could totally see him doing a really awesome spirit board as well, because obviously they all come with their own spirit boards, and I could see them doing like an anniversary spirit board with all of the different bosses throughout the quote unquote generations, right? And then we get all of them implemented into Smash 2. So I strongly believe one of the two is a Sonic rep. Yeah.
Awesome. The chat was saying Crash. I've heard lots of rumors of Crash.
Sure. Right. Sure. That'd be another big one.
Of course, someone's mentioning here Waluigi, of course. Right. Where would that happen? Let me ask you this question,
Can
Roger.
I say something real quick about Waluigi?
Nope, we don't pay you to say stuff moving forward.
Come on. Waluigi, I wouldn't be surprised that if after, even though we're done with the Fighter Pass 2, that at the end, he does a one more thing and it's Waluigi.
I also think that is a possibility. I think he's not lying when he says we're done with fighter passes. I think we are going to be done.
Okay.
But what I think he's going to do, especially because we haven't really seen any of these with DLC, is I think he's going to do standalone Echo Fighters coming up in the near future.
Oh,
And the reason I say that is because there's a game and a franchise that is huge for Nintendo that is getting a new iteration next year that just got announced with Splatoon 3. That is the perfect opportunity to throw a very easy Echo Fighter of Inkling in there, but have it be Octoling instead. So you have the Octolings, you've got the new weapons and the new stuff from Splatoon 3, you put in a Splatoon 3 stage, but you make it a standalone thing. You know, because that's how Smash 4 was. Smash 4, they were just doing one character at a time. They didn't commit to anything. And I think that might be what they're going to do moving forward with Ultimate, because Ultimate's obviously hugely successful. They're making a lot of money. It's got a massive install base.
I did find it weird that they spent a lot of time explaining what an Echo Fighter was back when Smash was originally announced.
Right.
And then they didn't do anything with it.
Yeah, you get Ken and Lucina and Dark Pit.
And Daisy.
And Cloud and Daisy. That's right. I guess there are a couple. And Dark Samus. I guess there's 6 of them.
But they didn't do anything else besides what they announced that day.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. I was just thinking more of like the Piranha Plant, how they started off the fighter passes. They gave everybody the Piranha Plant. And then I was thinking maybe they'll end it with, we'll do one last free fighter that everybody can get, and that's going to be
That'd be cool. It'd be especially cool if it was Waluigi after. Like, you know how you get the bonuses for buying the fighter passes?
Yes.
No, it's like you get the Mii fighter costumes. That would be really funny if you own them both, then you automatically get Waluigi for free.
Thanks for buying us. Here's Waluigi.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think Waluigi could have a really funny trailer too, because he's obviously already an assist trophy in the game. So I could see them do something where, like, they're on the map, somebody picks up an assist trophy, and then it's not working, and they're like shaking the assist trophy to try to make it work, and then you just see the crack on the trophy, and then Waluigi punches through, and then it says like Waluigi cheats his way in or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's fantastic stuff. Check out Mythra, Pyra and Mythra.
And Pyra.
Pyra and Mythra in Smash out now. Again, fantastic characters to play with. And of course, if you haven't, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, check it out. You should play it. It's awesome. It's really, really well done. I was kind of actually hoping that it was maybe, and to be honest, when I saw it, maybe like a new DLC. Like for like Golden Torna, another standalone.
A lot of people thought that.
That's what we were talking about.
Yeah, we were like, no, I was like, another DLC for it, and then also like, also selfishly, what's Monolith been doing?
Well, we know what they've been doing. So they've been helping with Breath of the Wild 2.
Helping with
They're open about that. They've been hiring a second team for that. But we also know they have a dedicated team currently working on a new IP there that they've been working on since Xenoblade 2, not Torna, since Xenoblade 2 ended development. So we're most likely going to... That was 2017. 17.
Was it 17?
Yeah, because the Switch came out in 2017. It came out in November. Yeah, and that's actually in 2018, early 2018 is when you saw the concept art of like the medieval character with the giant flag. Have you guys seen this? Like the Monolith Soft concept art of their new game?
I don't know if I have.
We might have, but it's been so long.
I mean, it's been years, but basically it looks like an open world game in like a medieval setting. And the main character is a girl who looks like a knight with a giant flag on her back. It looks awesome. But they haven't shown anything else of that. And so my assumption is by the like second half of this year, we're probably going to see whatever that game is.
Yeah, it's fair enough. Well, excellent. Well, speaking of games, we also have to wait for this year. Maybe another one early 2022. Pokemon, right? As you know, obviously all are aware, I'm the big Pokemon fan here. But I did sit down and watch. I watched the event that was held on February 26th. Great promo video, right? Of course, it is sizzle reel. I loved it. They talked a little bit more about Pokemon Snap. Here's the thing: when this game drops, I'm not picking it up. I don't care much for it. But I'm going to tell you, our social media feed is going to be just blitzed with everybody taking photos in that photo editor mode. Oh my gosh. Like that is going to wreck social media, I think, collectively.
Absolutely.
You're Roger jumping into Pokemon Snap?
Of course, no doubt about it. I've already committed to a full playthrough on the channel. Yeah, I mean, I grew up loving Pokemon Snap. I have very fond memories of Pokemon Snap. I got my cartridge stolen at a Blockbuster. I went to one of the machines, and then I was there with my dad, and someone walked by and stole the cartridge while we were going to rent a different game. So I mean, like, I have stories about Pokemon Snap. There was a brief side note story when I was a kid. I had this thing called the croup. Do you know what the croup is?
I've heard of it.
It's a coughing thing, is that right?
Yeah, it's like a weird coughing thing, right? Where the only way to sort of stop it is you have to breathe in really hot air or really cold air. And this was like February or January, I forgot, but I was little and I had an N64. And my mom was freaking out, but my dad knew what it was because I guess he had it when he was growing up. And he was like, oh, he's going to be fine. Just stick his head out the window. And so we were in my bathroom. And I stuck my head out the window and I was breathing in the cold February air, but my mom called the paramedics. And so these two guys come on over from the fire department, and which was like right down the block from my childhood house. And they come by and they check on me to see if like, I'm still okay or like if they need to do anything. And I was sitting in my room because to calm me down, my parents said, go turn on the Nintendo. So I was sitting in my room on the floor, on the carpet, playing Pokemon Snap on the N64. The game was relatively new at the time. It had only been out for like a couple months or so. And this paramedic guy, he was like a paramedic or fireman or whatever, comes in, sits down next to me and goes, yo, kid, what are you playing? And he sat and while they were still checking on me to make sure I was okay, he was sitting there playing Pokemon Snap with me. So I have lots of memories of like this
Nice.
new recruit to the fire department coming down and playing Pokemon Snap with me as a kid.
Awesome.
So, and of course, I just love the idea of the game. I like seeing Pokemon in their natural environment. I still own the original player's guide. I own my original cartridge. I've been waiting for a sequel. I thought Wii U would have been perfect for one with the gamepad, and they never did it. So I thought, well, it's never going to happen. But day one, I will be live streaming, which is a month from now. It comes out. I've waited 2 decades for a new Pokemon Snap game, and it comes out in a month. Unbelievable.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
They've done a great job of that. Like, oh, and by the way, it's coming up really quickly. Again, what's one of the things I really admire and respect for Nintendo is they do like it's available in 6 months or available in 3 months.
It's the best.
Except the thing is, when they don't do that and they decide to give you the long look, they typically miss. They typically miss.
That is true.
Right?
Metroid Prime 4.
Metroid.
Yeah, Metroid Prime 4,
That's
Breath of the Wild, right?
Yep.
Now, of course, another couple big things that were announced here. Gen 4 remake, Pokemon Bright Diamond and Pokemon Shining Pearl, coming out late November 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, just mark your calendar. This is your holiday title.
You're getting it.
Black Friday, right? This is exactly where it's going to go. This is developed by ILCA. Previously, they developed Pokemon Home. It's kind of got a little bit of a Link's Awakening style, a little bit, kind of a little bit chibi look to it. Battles are in a sword switch engine. Roger, how'd this land with you?
Yeah, I liked it totally. I wasn't really expecting anything else. I went in there going, okay, we're going to get a Gen 4 remake. There's no doubt about it. It's about time. And I think the look of the characters are a little weird. Like when you look at them close up, they look like the Little People toys from Fisher-Price. If you just look up Fisher-Price Little People, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. They look like that. But when you're further away, right, when the camera actually steps away from the characters themselves and you're looking at the environments, I like that they're keeping the scale pretty much 1-to-1. And it really just looks like a DS game in HD. So I'm all here for it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And I love Gen 4 is like one of my favorite Pokemon generations too. So I'm super excited to replay that.
Nice. Yeah, and I know that there was a ton of people that were super hyped for this one, right? And this has kind of been the rumor for a while. They're like, Gen 4, it's a remake.
Yeah.
So no one, I think, was shocked about this. But the real surprise, oh, look at that. Tim's got it right there.
The original Pearl, look at that.
Original DS.
Right next to Line Rider.
Here's a quick question. Roger, 5 years ago, would you have been playing Diamond and Pearl?
Of course. Yeah, 100%.
I think our first episode, you were chatting about it. I kid you not.
No. Hold on. So wait a minute.
7 years ago.
7 years ago. Okay, so I moved to LA 5 years ago. So 2014, well, like 6 years ago now. Well, no, Jesus, no. 2014, summer 2014, and now it's 2021. Oh my God. No, but I'm thinking about it. The game that would have been the most recent when I moved here was X and Y. That was the most recent. And then back when I was still writing with VG Tribune and we were hosted on VG Tribune and all that stuff, that was I did the review for Black and White. That was like one of the first full-fledged reviews we did with like Nintendo review copies was Black and White. Diamond and Pearl would have been right before that when I was in high school.
Okay. Because I remember our first time we had you on, because obviously Jesse and Zach had known you, and I was like, You were talking Pokemon, and I was like, I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Sure.
There. But I remember it was one of those ones, and I was like,
Yeah.
I wonder if that was it.
Yeah.
But I digress. Pokemon Arceus.
Yeah.
This looks cool.
Arceus.
Yeah.
This looks really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Open world Pokemon of the Wild. That's what we're
This is
getting.
what everyone's been clamoring
Yeah.
for, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This
Well,
is
moving
this kind
on
of
then,
stuff
folks.
I like.
Thanks very much.
This is the kind of stuff I like when Nintendo does this, and obviously this is Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
But when they do two things that people want, right? Instead of trying to please, well, it is pleasing everybody, a majority, but it's like, okay, we know everybody wants a Gen 4 remake, so let's do that. And we know that people want a Pokemon in a open world type setting, so let's do that. Rather than trying to cram it all into one, they decided to do two different things, which is something when I like it when these companies do that type of thing. They're trying to please everybody in those two different areas.
And I'm super excited to play it. Like the main thing with me is I'm actually more excited for the Diamond Pearl remakes than I am for this. I'm more excited for the potential of Pokemon Legends, because the way that this is being set up is that this is going to be a sub-series. That it's part of the core series of Pokemon, but there's going to be other Pokemon Legends games in the future, which says to me, okay, if they're going to the past of Sinnoh, and you think of the stories of all the other Pokemon games, X and Y, the whole crux of the story of that game was the ancient Kalos War that wiped out the region. In Johto, right? The whole thing in Johto was the Burned Tower legend with Lugia and Ho-Oh, with the legendary dogs, and how Lugia and Ho-Oh took down the tower and Ecruteak City became what it was. That right there is a future Pokemon Legends game. Right?
There was a war in Kanto that Surge was referenced.
Exactly, yeah. Lieutenant Surge referenced the war. You've got stuff in Hoenn that leads to like space stations in outer space, with Deoxys being the legendary. They could do a far future one at some point. So I think the thing for me that this is telling me is that they sort of want to slow down from the 2 generations every cycle that they've been doing. Probably because, we're at 1,000 Pokemon at this point. It's getting to be a little much.
Well,
and I think they're like, all right, well, so what would be the best way to sort of slow things down without cheaping out and just continuing to just remake the same game? It would be to revisit these different areas that have so much lore in different time periods, and, really kind of mix things up, throw in starters from different regions, Pokemon from different regions, explore, the history of these legendary Pokemon and why they're so cool. So I'm all for it. I think the idea is great. The footage looked a little rough. I'll say looked a little rough. The 2 FPS chingling floating around in the background. No, not about all that. But it's early. This is the earliest we've ever seen a Pokemon game, and I'm excited, like you said, for the concept of an open world Pokemon game. I just think it's been time. We've been waiting for this. I'm excited to see it, and I'm happy they're trying something different. Yeah.
I thought they did a great job. I thought the trailer looked fantastic, and I think the internet kind of collectively lost their mind. Also, this is early 2022,
which is also weird that they committed to early 2022. They could have just said 2022, but they said early, which says to me that there's going to be a huge holiday game next year that they do not want to compete with.
Yeah, I thought that. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if we don't see it at about the same place that we're going to see Pokemon Snap, end of April.
Yeah.
Just kind of from a timing, right? Because a lot of things don't go in Q1. Q1 is kind of still the quiet zone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my concern is because I had this problem, which is the reason why I didn't play Black and White, is because I got so burned out in Gen 4. If they get too close, I don't know if I'm going to want to play Legends Arceus if I've been playing
Diamond and Pearl
for 2 months.
Yeah. I think the thing is, gameplay wise, they look very, very different. Because I know they showed the little snippet of what looks like turn-based. That game is not turn-based. I don't care what they're telling people. That game is not turn-based. That game is an action RPG. Very clearly, you could see there's a dodge roll with the characters. I'm sure there's going to be extra mobility things, kind of, especially considering how Breath of the Wild was, where you have mounts and you're running around the map and climbing and things. I'm sure they're going to do the exact same thing with this. And even the mechanics of catching the Pokemon, right? It's you just pull out the Pokemon and throw it at them. It didn't look like there was actually a battle there. It looks like the battles were between Pokemon that you're not necessarily catching, but battles on the field. Yeah. So, I'm fascinated to see what's going to end up happening.
Roger, you made a very interesting statement there about kind of the similarities that we see with Breath of the Wild, right? And I think that's the first thing people say is it's Breath of the Wild, right? And the opening cinematic, you even kind of felt
clearly, yeah.
The same
Do you
camera
think?
zoom.
Do you think their statement of late or early 2022 for this game gives more credence that we're more likely to see Breath of the Wild in 2021 because so that they're not competing in that kind of like for like commentary?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, I think in a non-COVID world, I assumed Breath of the Wild 2 would have been the 2020 holiday game. And I think that would have launched alongside Switch Pro or whatever, new Nintendo Switch, Super Switch, whatever you want to call it. And I still wholeheartedly believe that. I think this new Breath of the Wild game will most likely launch alongside whenever we get a new Nintendo Switch. Maybe the new Switch comes earlier, right? Maybe it comes out earlier than a lot of us are anticipating. But I feel like the game that's really going to take advantage of the system is going to be Breath of the Wild 2. And going back to what we saw with this trailer, a lot of people were saying, man, Legends looks kind of rough. You know, things are choppy. Well, who's to say this game is not being developed knowing Switch Pro's coming out?
Right.
And that they're like, well, we don't want to give this away. We're going to have to show. And obviously, all the Switch Pro games are going to work on the Switch. So you have to make it work anyway. So they probably were like, let's just show the Switch version.
Yeah. And
that's probably what we saw. We probably saw an early alpha Switch version of Legends, which will most likely be way prettier and on the Pro when it comes out in next year. Yeah.
Interesting. Great stuff there. And of course, we'll keep our eyes open for that. We're going to talk about Switch Pro and look at Roger. Let's talk Switch Pro, will we?
Let's go.
We're going to just jump notes here. All right. Bloomberg posted an article on March 3rd stating that the new Nintendo Switch will be announced later this year. A couple of quick little things. They claim that Samsung Display Company will be beginning mass production of new 7-inch OLED capable 720p resolution as early as June this year, with initial target month launch of a million units, with shipments to Nintendo starting in July. So reportedly supporting a 4K output for the dock. Expected release around holiday season.
Makes sense.
We'll just sit in that pocket.
Yeah, I mean, well, that makes sense. If they expect to release this holiday season, then I think that answers your question. Yeah, Breath of the Wild 2 is probably the holiday game. That says to me, you know, especially if you have Breath of the Wild 2 and Diamond and Pearl remakes coming out this holiday season, Switch is going to kill. Yeah. So I'm wondering then if they're going to ramp up production for July. They haven't said what's happening, you know, late this year. I sort of wrote off during that Nintendo Direct when Aonuma said you're going to find out more information about it later this year. I kind of wrote off that it was going to be this year. But hearing that and then the rumors about like Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess, and of course this being the big anniversary year, it would make sense for them to maybe just hold their cards close until they're absolutely ready to confirm that it's going to be this year. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, a holiday launch alongside Breath of the Wild 2 would be perfect. I mean, literally, I can't think of a better holiday lineup for them other than because you would have Breath of the Wild 2. You would have Diamond and Pearl remake, potentially more information on Metroid Prime 4 and Bayonetta by that point. For sure, the rest of the Fighter Pass for Smash Bros. Will be out by then. The second wave of the first year of Animal Crossing, so they're obviously going to push that again. But my guess is they're going to do like new holiday events moving into the second year. So they're going to do another push for Animal Crossing. Continuing the push of the Mario games, right? We still have all these Mario games development. Splatoon 3 is coming 2022. And Monster Hunter Rise comes out this month as well. So they're killing it.
What is that Mario team doing?
That's the other thing too. Well, I assumed they were maybe working on Bowser's Fury.
5-hour, 10-hour game, Roger. Sure, I feel like that's the B tier. I feel like that's a B team.
I will say this: it certainly doesn't feel like a B tier because I'm somebody who I've said this. And many people know this. I've talked about this before. I'm not the biggest Mario fan of the world. I know that's blasphemous to say as a quote-unquote Nintendo brand ambassador.
On this week of all weeks.
I know. But I don't care about Mario that much at all. I never have. I grew up, I was a Sonic kid. Even though I had N64, I never cared about Mario games that much. And the ones that I like are usually the ones that a lot of people don't like. I love Mario Sunshine. Obviously, I love the Galaxy games, and I love the original Mario World, but I did not like 3D World the first time I played it. I still don't like 3D Land. Mario 64, I don't think has aged particularly well. There's a lot of Mario games that I'm like, I kind of steer clear from. And so I wasn't really fully expecting to love Bowser's Fury. And man, I'll tell you, I ate that game up. I 100% of that game. It was the perfect amount of time for me. 10 hours is like great. I was able to explore. I loved just the regular gameplay loop that you get in of finding a little shine sprite, going, I'm going to go to the other area, get different cat shine. Bowser comes up, you're summoning with the amiibo, you're switching out, you're trying to time, oh, there's a cat shine over here, but Bowser's going to come up over here, so I'm going to jump to this area to get this and wait until he comes up and then grab it and then send him away. As it was just perfect. And I hope that game is a litmus test for what Odyssey 2 is going to be. Because I enjoy Odyssey, but I think looking back on it, I don't like it as much as I think I did the first time I played it. I think there's some Mario games that I can go back and play them and be like, oh, this is still awesome, like Galaxy or Sunshine. Whereas, Odyssey, maybe not as much, because a lot of Odyssey is like, you get a moon for literally walking into the sand. You get a moon for looking behind something. And this game felt like the perfect mix between exploration, jumping between very clear levels, right? But leaving whatever those objectives are and exploring with Bowser breaking certain blocks. And just, I don't know, it was a nice gameplay loop. And it felt to me more of like what I think the Odyssey team was trying to do with an open world Mario and what I want to see them do with the future Odyssey game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and when I say this, I don't think it was a B tier delivery, but that felt like it was like a project, a smaller project team probably did that, where the rest of them were doing something else.
Sure.
Tim, how do you sit with this idea of like a new Switch model? Now, what do you think?
Well, it was one of my predictions for 2020. I thought we would get it, but with COVID, I pushed that prediction to be 2021, thinking that it would be out this year.
Yeah.
With all the, we always say wherever there's smoke, there's fire. So there's so many rumors, there's so many things going on, and even the new one today about the Game Reactors post about NVIDIA to stop Switch's SoC production this year. So what are they going to use after that? So a lot of speculation behind, they're going to have to put out a new Switch and do kind of like a new 3DS, new 2DS release where they'll do, the Switch, the Super Switch and the Switch Lite, Super Switch Lite.
Right.
Launching simultaneously. It's different, with the new chipset.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it, trying to put my, business Justin hat on, and trying to look at it from a business perspective. What would Nintendo do in this type of thing? And yeah, of course, we've seen them mention before, no, we don't have any new hardware. And then boom, all of a sudden there's new hardware. Yeah. So we can't take their word for that. But yeah. And obviously they're going to tell us that, like we said before, because they don't want anybody to not buy their current Switch. Yeah. So I foresee it definitely for before the end of the year, probably a holiday thing. And I agree with Roger said about it being with Breath of the Wild too.
Yeah.
I think the other interesting thing that we've read a lot of or seen a lot of is that at no point do they really talk about changing the form factor. So a lot of people are like, well, so what does that actually mean? You're talking with the screen. Really what that means, if you look at your current Switch, take your screen and basically push it all the way to the bezel.
Yeah, it's going to be. That's why you got
all
Samsung.
The way to the bezel.
Why do you think they ordered the Samsung OLEDs, right? Because Samsung knows how to push the screen limits to the bezel. Yeah. And then that way you can keep the same form factor, but fit it in there. So,
and so Joy-Cons can still work.
Yeah. Oh yeah, all your original Joy-Cons I'm sure will work. And
that's exactly it. I think there's a lot of things.
Even do a Pro Joy-Con too.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, I think they do need to also update the Joy-Cons considering the drifts and stuff. Yeah. For sure. So I think they do need to do that. And I'm here for it. Thankfully, I haven't had the issue as much as a lot of other people. I think I've had 2 sets that have drifted. My original set that I got, like my pre-launch Switch Joy-Cons. Yeah. And then I think it's the ARMS one, the yellow ARMS one. Mm-hmm. Those were drifting as well, but all my other ones are fine. So.
Yeah. I had a speculation on that in my own household, my original OG ones lasted longer than my kids because of my kids being, well, specifically my younger son, boys are dirty, so
he sure is. I mean, he was saying that Pyra and Mythra were really hot. So I know where his mind is.
So, but I mean,
he's just right.
He eats around it, and so there could be, any type of particles that can get in there and stuff like that. So his drifted to where mine took for a very long time before they ever did, and then it's an easy fix with the, using a contact cleaner. So, for the most part. I've heard people where that didn't work, but still, I think it has something to do with that design. Particles are getting in there a lot easier, and causing the drift. And then if you just spray something in there, it ends up doing very well and cleaning it out, and then you're fine for a while again until you get another particle in it.
And I think this is, I think this completely makes sense for Nintendo. The hardware is at, and I'm rocking an OG Switch. We're 4 years out, right?
Yeah.
That batteries have improved, chipsets have improved, Wi-Fi receivers, everything have improved. So we're not talking about, everyone wants to keep calling it like the Switch Pro. It's not really that. Really, what it is kind of the next iteration. Do you know what I mean? It's the next.
It looks like it's more like a Switch
refresh.
XL.
It's a refresh. That's exactly it. Yeah. So, but also refreshing with like 2020 technology.
Right. And I think that's smart
chipsets.
to do that too, considering the fact that like Switch is obviously selling gangbusters.
Yeah.
They still have not dropped, unbelievably.
No.
They have not dropped the price of the original Nintendo Switch. Not once. So that says to me that there'll probably be a price drop for those original Switches coming to the holiday
They never dropped the price
season.
of the Wii U either in its entire life.
To be fair, I mean, the Wii U was they needed to never drop the price for that. That was, they needed their money. They
were hoping
got
for every
the Wii U.
one they sold, they made
Right.
like double the price back.
Right. So that's understandable. But I think, when you look at all the systems they sold, you look at what they're saying for this year, how they want to surpass, and they're projecting to surpass the Wii's console sales. I mean, the Wii sold what, like 100 million or something? That was like
10 million.
So,
Yeah,
not that much.
It was 101 million, I think.
they're going to do
just
it.
barely
I mean,
over
there's
100.
no doubt
That's
about
not
it. They're
much.
going to do it this year. If you look at their financials, they've already passed the GBA. There's only 3DS. They just passed the 3DS, I think, didn't they? So all that's left is the DS and the Wii. That's all that's left to pass. And I think if you pass the Wii this year, and you've got another 2 years with the Switch beyond next year, they're passing the DS. It's going to be their most successful system of all time.
Well, something
Right
we have
there.
to keep in mind too is remember that they only have this one system now.
Right,
Where
exactly.
before it was Wii U and 3DS.
Exactly.
So I think that when we're looking at the numbers, I think we have to look at them in combination. Look
Sure.
at the Wii U and 3DS because at that time it was a home system and a portable system in two separate categories. Now it's hybrid.
Yeah.
So we passed the Wii U, obviously, but did we pass the 3DS? I think we did, right? So, but in the combination of those two, because it's like they don't have that other pillar anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
I think it's really smart. I think that they did it now, having seen some of those financials, because like Zelda Breath of the Wild is now the best-selling Zelda game pretty much of all time. You've got Sword and Shield, which despite the controversy is now the third best-selling Pokemon game of all time. The only games beyond it are during the height of the Pokemon phenomenon,
Gens
98
1 and
to 2000 with Gen 1 and 2, right? So you've got Mario Odyssey, the best-selling 3D Mario game. You've got all of these different tentpoles that they're hitting with the Switch, and you've now got this massive install base. Why would you move on from this system? Like, obviously, do sequels for all the games that were successful. Do more DLC for the games you already have out there. Do, more Pokemon games. They have 2 Pokemon games already in development right now. Like, we're going to be with the Switch for a long time. And, I'm ready for the refresh. I'm excited for it.
And we can always look to what they did with the DS line, right?
Yeah.
The DS to the DSi to the 3DS to the new 3DS and the 2DS.
Yeah.
All those different things.
And I'm personally fine with that. I mean, I like having only one system. I like not having to split. I like having the option to play on my TV and play at home. And I know I'm in the minority here, but like I genuinely play, even though I have a lot of TVs, I genuinely only play in handheld mode when I'm just like sitting around playing a game. I like sitting on the couch watching TV or watching a podcast or something and then playing in my handheld mode.
And
I like it.
And Nintendo knows this because of the data they collect. How many people are playing in handheld versus, on their console.
Desktop, yeah.
I had notes saying that no Nintendo, this is not including handhelds. No Nintendo console has ever had a life cycle of more than 6 years. So most consoles have had a 5-year life cycle with 3 exceptions. NES and Wii had 6 years, and Wii U had 4.5.
I think just because it's what it has had doesn't mean that will be continuing.
Right.
I
Well,
think
What was the life cycle of the Game Boy?
25 years.
88. It's almost 13 years.
It was like 88 to what, like 2001?
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be that extensive, right? But I do think we're probably looking at a GBA to DS level life cycle.
I added that because, one of the things that they said they want or expecting Nintendo to want out of this is to extend the life to at least 2 years out.
Sure.
And if we're already looking at 5 years, add 2 to that is 7.
Yeah.
This is
7,
gonna be This is
That
going to be
sounds
the
great.
longest
I mean,
life cycle.
Yeah.
And in Xbox and PlayStation, both last two generations have all been 7 years. So it kind of lines up.
and we just got the PS5. We just got the new Xbox. People still can't find the PS5, right? I mean, there's shortages with the system. And to be honest, there's not a lot to play on it right now. We're at a point where like we still haven't really gotten a killer app for that, right? We got Demon Souls launched with it. We had Miles Morales. You can play that on PS4. You know, you've got like Final Fantasy VII Interlude coming out that's also already on PS4. I think we're still like 6 months out from the huge exclusive PS5 game that's really going to get a lot of people talking. I think like with sort of the slow startup for the new Xbox and the new PlayStation, it's almost like buying Nintendo a lot of time, where if they do upgrade these chipsets, there's potential maybe even for PS4 and Xbox One games to then be ported to the Switch. And that opens up a whole new can of worms where sure, they'll always be one generation behind, but if they hit that mid-generation sweet spot like they did with the Switch and they just continue to do this and they release whatever, you know, the real Switch 2, when we actually get the next Switch in like 3-4 years or whatever, that'll be about halfway through the life cycle of PS5 and Xbox. And that'll be perfect timing to then say, hey, you know, those early launch PS5, Xbox games, you can play them on our handheld now. And it restarts the whole thing over again.
Right.
Yeah, I know that I think some of us already have this list of like what games do we hope to come to the Switch. Right, that are current, like Bug Snacks is a great example. I'm like, Bug Snacks has got to come. Like it's, you know, that makes logical sense.
Well, Dragon Ball Kakarot, I think that got announced or leaked today. One of the two. That's coming to Switch. I heard Life is Strange. There's rumors that Life is Strange is coming as well.
I know that could be real interesting.
The one I'm waiting for and holding out hope for still is Nier. I really want Nier Automata to come to Switch. I think that'd be such a great game to have on the system. And in terms of things that are already announced that aren't on Switch but will definitely come to Switch, I think that Ever Crisis Final Fantasy remake that's coming out for phones, where they're redoing Final Fantasy VII, but it's like before Crisis Core, and they're literally remaking it with the old blocky sprites, but like in HD. I think even though they said it's mobile only right now, my guess is they said that about Final Fantasy Pocket Edition as well, and that came to Switch.
That
so
was one of my comments on Twitter
on
was that's coming to Switch.
Oh, for sure. No doubt about it. Yeah, no doubt about it.
All right. Before we jump off to our kind of what we've been playing and events, all that stuff and discussion, ladies and gentlemen, yesterday was Mario's birthday. We can have a quick little round the horn of how great Mario is. But
Happy Mario Day, of course.
Happy Mario Day. Round of applause. Yay, go get yourself a pizza.
Ignore what I said earlier. I actually love Mario.
But how are you a Nintendo ambassador? And that's like if we had any sway.
I got my mouth full of pie. I'm gonna say it right now. They needed a guy who likes anime games.
Right? Okay,
that's
fair
why.
enough.
They said he likes Xenoblade and Fire Emblem. They got me for that.
We have no power or sway over Nintendo of America in any way, but if there was a letter that I could write a message to somebody. I've had some DMs with Nick, the PR guy, but that's all
good.
But ladies and gentlemen, as much as Mario Day was Wednesday and the internet was happy and celebrating, there were 4 things that took the internet by storm: a Leonardo, a Donatello, a Michelangelo, and Raphael. Because, ladies and gentlemen, my 1990s hype level went off the chart when yesterday Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge was announced. And let me tell you, if you were a kid of the 80s and 90s like I was, that lived and died on the NES and Super Nintendo Ninja Turtle games, this has sweet, sweet nostalgia written all over it, and put it in my blood, in my veins right now, because dear Lord, I am in like Flynn.
Especially with the developer of Streets of Rage 4 doing it, with them doing it. That's amazing. And they did a great job on that.
Not only did they do that, aren't those the guys behind Scott Pilgrim as well? So like they know how to do the beat 'em up type games. I think those side-scrolling beat 'em ups, they have a really nice pedigree. And I didn't grow up with the NES or Super Nintendo. I was an N64 kid, but it's still the same kind of thing where I've played obviously the Super Nintendo Ninja Turtle games. I know how good they are. And I think if they're able to live up to that level of quality, that Nintendo seal of quality, if you will, it's going to be great.
The graphics, the graphics are looking ripped from that generation. Even the trailer they released has that kind of 80s cartoon look to it. Like they're doing all the things right. There is no official date on this yet, but the developer and publisher have put games on Switch before. This will definitely be coming. This will be a release everywhere. Specific date, but man, let me tell you, I was over the moon hyped for this. Around the horn, who's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
Leonardo.
Donatello.
Nice.
I've always liked Donnie.
Yeah, I was going to say Donatello as well.
Wow, 3 Donatellos. I'm the sole
That's
Leonardo.
weird.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, crazy. I think Marty would be a Michelangelo guy.
I was thinking we would pick Ralph, but I don't know. We'll have to ask him.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is kind of the news we've gone around the horn on.
There was one thing I wanted to mention, and I only added it here because of Roger. Did you see the new trailer for the World Ends With You animation?
Oh, it looks so good. It looks so good. And not only does the anime look good, the fact that dude, this is what I'm talking about, man. They made 2021 for me. I waited 20 years for a new Pokemon Snap game. We're getting in April. This summer, I'm getting a sequel, not a remake, not a remix 0.5, whatever Nomura likes to do with the Kingdom Hearts games. We're getting a Neo World Ends With You this summer and an anime. I've been fed. I'm good. Pyra and Mythra and Smash Bros. I got a new anime. I'm done.
You can
They
retire
don't need to
now,
make
right?
anything else ever again. I'm good. I'm there day one, Jesse. I can't wait to do live reactions. I can't wait.
For everyone else, the anime will start airing in Japan on April 9th, and which will be available in other regions on the 10th.
Yes.
Nice.
I'm assuming Crunchyroll or something that Verve has in
I'd
their
be
family.
shocked if
will
it's
have
not on
it.
Crunchyroll. Yeah.
Nice. Excellent.
I'm
All right.
planning on watching that.
Me too.
Exciting stuff. Hey, before we move on to our next topic, Roger, in the pre-show, you mentioned you might have something to give away for our amazing Twitch folks. How do you want to do this?
So here's how we're going to do this. All right. So Nintendo, for my birthday, sent me Apex Legends codes.
Ooh.
So I had some Apex Legends. They're Apex. I almost said Apex V-Bucks, but they're not called that. Apex coins. $20 worth of Apex coins. And they give me codes to give away in literally any fashion that I please. All I have to say is that these codes are provided by Nintendo. # free game. # free product. So whoever ends up getting it, you got to say # free product. Thank you, Nintendo. So this is a code for 20 Apex coins. All right. What I'm going to do at some point during the course of this live stream, so if you're watching this later as a VOD, I'm sorry you're not eligible. At some point during this live stream, I'm going to drop this code in the Twitch chat, not the YouTube chat, in the Twitch chat. I'm going to put it in the Twitch chat. You got to be there. You got to have a tab open. If you're watching on YouTube, don't X out. Get them the YouTube views. Tab out. Have a Twitch thing, all right? I'm going to drop it in the Twitch chat. One of you can grab the code. Obviously, let us know if you grab it. And then just tweet at me and at Nintendo Dads saying thank you for the $20 Apex code, # free product. That's the drill. So I'm going to write this code out actually right now in the chat. And I'm not going to give it away. We could be talking about something completely different. We could be midway through a Ghosts and Goblins discussion. Yep. And I could just click that enter button. Boom. So I'm going to write it out right now. But you guys have to have your Apex, whatever it's called, Apex storeroom.
Yeah, Apex account ready at the ready. And just for those who are asking, no. Jesse, I, and Tim are not eligible, so I'm not going to be entering it. So knock it off.
Here we go.
Yeah, so go grab your Switches, free product again. Thank you.
It won't
thank
be
you very
rigged.
much, Roger.
I'm assuming this would have required me to
Nintendo.
have
and
downloaded.
Nintendo.
Of course.
I'm presuming this would have required me to actually download it in order before I could claim it.
I think so.
Which
yeah.
I have no plans on downloading this.
So and actually, I think I'm looking at this right. I think you enter it actually on the eShop.
Oh, probably.
And Apex is a free download, so I actually think it'll just give you coins to your account. Yeah. So I think you can actually use this without.
If an account that says not Tim wins it, that's not me.
Not Tim, you got it. So $20, yeah. So it's a Switch, yeah. Switch eShop, nice. $20 Apex coin code.
North American.
Right now, just kidding. It's not going live right now. I'm just trolling you. Yep. But get ready. Get ready.
All right, folks. That has been the news. Let's discuss what is the thing we were going to discuss? Where did it go? Oh my gosh!
Games we've been playing.
Oh, let's hit a bumper. What have you been playing? Thank you, Roger. It's like you've done this before.
Of course. It's like I'm used to being on the show.
I hit the list. I hit the let's discuss bumper thinking that's where you're going, but if we're going to go to
I know. No, let's go to what we've been playing. Roger, of course, you're our guest. What have you been playing?
I've been playing a lot on my Switch. This past 2 weeks, I have been playing a lot. I feel like just in terms of games that I enjoy, it's been a really good month and a half. Because like I said, Bowser's Fury, I 100%ed it. We already talked about that, so I won't talk about it. Played, I think, 5 hours of Bravely Default 2. already. Thoroughly enjoying it. I'm not far enough in the story to really like get into anything, but I did the entirety of the prologue live on stream. Got through the opening battle with Sir Sloan and the weird butler-looking guy who's a monk, so I beat him. And so now I'm into actually the meat and potatoes of the game. I love the gameplay grind. I think it's awesome. I liked the originally Bravely Default, but I dropped it in the last act of the game. It was getting a little too grindy for me, and I never went back to it. And I never played End Layer. So this is all pretty brand new territory for me, but I will say I am pleasantly surprised by how good the game looks. Because I remember seeing the trailers for Bravely Default 2 and being like, this is not my cup of tea at all. But actually the final game looks a lot better. I've certainly gotten used to the Precious Moments dolls and the look of some of the characters. Speaking of Precious Moments dolls, while I'm saying that, another game with Precious Moments characters I've been playing a lot for no reason. Literally, I just had some points on my eShop, and I was like, I'm going to download this. It's on sale. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles HD. So this game came out last year. Never had the opportunity to play it. I was busy playing other things. I have said on the show even before, one of my absolute favorite GameCube games of all time is the original Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. I love that game. I'm also one of those weirdos that didn't have friends, so I played it by myself, and I loved it. I mean, I had friends, but I didn't have friends that had the cables, you know what I mean? But, well, I actually, because I have such nostalgia for that original game, I thought, man, this isn't going to age well. I should really find somebody to play online with. But I've been playing it in bed before I go to sleep every other night, and I got to say, playing it single player, I'm still really loving it. I'm loving it. I love the environments. I think are really good. The music's really good. The boss battles, because it's like such a comfort food kind of game for me, it's great. I don't really have to think about it. I'm like, oh, I'm at the Goblin Wall. This is going to be over here. I'm going to grab this thing. I like that they added voiceovers to it as well. That was something I didn't know they had added to the game. And then all of a sudden my characters are going Blizzara. And I'm like, whoa, that didn't happen in the GameCube game. So I've been playing a lot of Crystal Chronicles. And the primary thing, though, that I've been playing for the majority of my time over the past week and a half has been Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection. Okay. This game rules. This game rules. I like Ghosts and Goblins, but I never loved Ghosts and Goblins. I just liked it. I liked the aesthetic of it. I thought it was cute. The picture book quality of the game, love it. Aesthetically, beautiful. It is brutally difficult. So you already know I turned that off a legend. I went right to Squire. I wasn't going to be a baby. I wasn't going to page mode. I want to still get the actual ending. So I played on Squire, and I beat the game 2 days ago. On my birthday, in the morning, I beat Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection. I killed the devil. I threw a lance right in Lucifer's neck, and I could not have been happier about it. That game from beginning to end was a lot of fun. The music is great. I think the extra little things they added with the Umbral Bees to unlock different abilities was really cool. I played co-op with Reagan, so she was holding down like the shield button as I was going through the dragon battle. I had a blast with that game, and I'm right there with Sakurai. He mentioned it during the Sakurai Presents. He's like, I'm really happy. This is a series they're revitalizing. And I couldn't agree more. It's also apparently doing pretty well in terms of sales. So from all fronts, I think a huge success. And I would love to see a continuation of Ghosts and Goblins in the future from this. I think the way they, adjusted the difficulty, added the co-op features, the spells, everything. It was great. I like that all of these games, whether it's Ghosts and Goblins, Bowser's Fury, whatever, I like that so many companies are no longer afraid to be like, oh yeah, our game's only like 5 to 10 hours. Like, I appreciate the fact that it's in and out experience. You get the meat and potatoes of it. You can go back and really 100% it if you want. But it's been a blast. And then the only other thing really I've been playing has been Pikmin 3 Deluxe, trying to get more platinums on the Olimar side missions. I've just been having a blast playing that game. Did some bingo battle a couple weeks ago with Reagan, and it was a blast. So that's what I've been playing.
Yeah, I've been playing Ghosts and Goblins as well. And the thing I really like the most about it, I said the first time that we kind of talked about on the channel, is that it is not a remake of it. No. But it is an inspired by. Do you know what I mean? Like it is definitely, there's definitely some notes of like, oh yeah, that, I hear those musical notes, the level looks the same, but you're like, if you think it's just a remake and they put another paint color on it, you're wrong. Yeah. And they've done a lot of really great jobs. Like, I think the sales numbers, like, to your point, is great. Let me ask you this. You brought up the question. I just want to kind of pick your brain about this idea of these kind of shorter games.
I love it.
Right. Why do you think that is? Do you think, is it just like, is there?
I think there was a time. Yeah. I think there was a time where, you saw it in like the era of like Witcher 3 and all the open world games. I think there was a time about 3 years ago where it's, and like Assassin's Creed definitely suffers from this, where the games are like 90 hours, 100 hours long, where every company was like, our game is a 120-hour single-player epic experience. You get all these other extra things. And then ultimately, you know, you get 50 hours into the game and you're like, I really enjoyed this. I'm done now. And then you don't actually want to get through the rest. You know what I mean? And that's how I felt about a lot of modern games. But I think between Bowser's Fury, Ghosts and Goblins, Pikmin even, I think with Pikmin 3 Deluxe, obviously that's an old game that they're, you know, remastering, but it's still like those shorter experiences are what I find myself gravitating towards, especially now when there's so many games to play on the Switch that I'm really saving like that 50-hour, 60-hour gameplay time for something like a Zelda or a Pokemon. I don't necessarily want to spend that on like a Ghosts and Goblins. Had this been a 50-hour Ghosts and Goblins epic adventure experience, I would have played about 5 and 10 hours and I would have said, nope, I'm good. I'm done now. So I appreciate it.
I wonder if, and so this is a little bit of the business Justin hat coming on here, but I wonder if there is some level of like research. Do you know what I mean? So we have created a 120-hour game, but our research shows people only go 50 hours. Right. So what you're missing is 50 hours of work, developer time, developer costs, resources to flesh out whatever it is. So, you know, from an artist perspective, you're like, man, that final boss is amazing. They're like, yeah, I never got there.
Right.
Never saw it.
And I think it's something too that has maybe become more popular with the uprising of like indie developers, right? You've got all these indie games that are like 3-4 hours long that are awesome experiences. You've got things like Ikenfell, Cardo, you know, Aegis Defenders, all these really great indie experiences that you could sit down and play for like 5 hours and then you're done with them. And I think that is actually having an influence on the major developers as a whole, where they realize, oh no, we could release like a Bowser's Fury or a Ghosts and Goblins and make it $30. And people will absolutely eat the game up and love it. Yeah. So I mean, I'm a fan of
this
it.
data, like PlayStation trophies, you know, you have access to the percentage of people who hit them. So like I remember when I was playing like Persona 5, like only like 80% of the people got the first trophy. I'm like,
right.
I would have expected this to be more closer to 100, but no, only 80. And then you know, it drops down pretty quick until about halfway through, and then it's more of a steady 30%.
Right.
But if you know that like your average player is only staying 30 hours into your 100-hour game, right, then there's something that you can think about for what you need to like. So you're essentially not to be rude, you're kind of overpaying for the for the reward versus return of your resources. There's a point where you're like, we're not doing that.
I'm trying to think of when that really like first started, right? Where they were saying, okay, these games need to be these long experiences. I actually think it was quite a bit before The Witcher. The first thing I could think of is the major complaints that people had with Wind Waker. So I'm sure you guys remember this, was like when Wind Waker first was released, people said, you know, oh, this is such a great Zelda game. It's awesome. But like, there's only how many dungeons in that game? Like 6? Not even. There's 5, I think. You've got the tower. You've got the Deku Tree. You've got the Dragon Roost, and then you've got the Earth Temple and the Wind Temple or whatever at the end, and that's it. And then you've got Ganon's Tower.
And then the Triforce Hunt adds
and the
15 hours.
Right, exactly. And so I think people complained about that with Wind Waker. And then when you go back and you play Twilight Princess is like a 50-hour, 60-hour game. I mean, there's like lots of dungeons, you have side quests, you got all this other stuff you're doing in the game. But I think ultimately the majority of people, at least that I know, and this could be incorrect with your audience, but I mean, just based on mine, look back more fondly on Wind Waker than they do on Twilight Princess, because Wind Waker HD really cleaned up that Triforce Hunt and made it much more manageable. And that game you could pretty much get through in like 10, 15 hours now, versus Twilight Princess is still that 50-hour kind of game. And you've got that first 3 hours in the forest with Ilya and the horse and all that other stuff that you got to do before you even get to the first temple. I mean, you go through the stuff with the wolf, and there's all this other stuff in the game that kind of feels like filler. Yeah. And I think when you're looking at games the way they're developed now, I think even with the most recent Zelda game, right? You could, if you really blaze through Breath of the Wild, you could beat all 4 of the temples and Ganon in like 4 or 5 hours once you know what you're doing. But the enjoyment in that game and the reason people spend hundreds of hours is because of the gameplay mechanic. And if you have a solid gameplay hook that keeps people coming back for more, and you only need to develop a certain amount of content to allow the people to discover what to explore, I think you're in a better situation, right? So I think like moving forward, I think with the epic open world games, you're going to see more things alongside Breath of the Wild, at least from Nintendo side of things, where the main story mode is potentially not that long, but there's all these other dressings on the side that are obviously optional that really make the experience much more worthwhile, whether it's collecting Korok seeds or moons or whatever. I mean, Odyssey that's another great example. Look at Mario Odyssey. Mario Odyssey, you could fly through that game in like 5 hours, and you get to Bowser like 75 moons, even though there's like 999 in the game.
Yeah. I think it's a very interesting conversation about kind of the development of that kind of stuff and where it goes from a cost perspective and then the value. So I'm just curious to pick your brain on that. So
I think some games, their developers are getting better at actually having meaningful content for their 100-hour games. I think Persona 5 and Dragon Quest 11, I don't think there's any filler.
No.
Everything in there felt important.
Yeah. But I also sometimes think it's the equation of time versus money, right? So if you're if you're saying, hey, this game is $60 and you're like, but it's 120 hours, okay, cool. I feel like I'm getting my value. But if you're like, it's 10 hours, $60, like the math doesn't add up, right?
Sure.
So people do what's the value proposition of time versus money?
Sure.
And how do those things come across, right? And so I think that's where you see that bloat, right? And where we see that extra value, where I would argue that like if you can tell me a story-driven, emotional, whatever it is, and it feels the same way, then sure, look at you're a better storyteller for it. So
absolutely, yeah.
I think we talked about Bowser's Fury the first time. I think I said if Bowser's Fury was standalone and still $60, I would have been happy with it.
Oh, same. Yeah, same. I would have still bought the heck out of that game. Based on how it finally, and that's coming from somebody who's not a hardcore Mario fan, so I mean it. I mean,
that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Right on. Jesse, let's go over to you for kind of what you've been playing. And then maybe do you want to hit that bumper from our resident John Blanco, who's out in the field right now with Bravely Default.
Yeah, so I'll do what I was playing first. I'm continuing Persona 5 Strikers.
Nice.
I'm either in the final jail or probably something else after this jail. I don't know, but I'm like 35 hours into the game. It is definitely, the story feels like it's going to an end, which means there's probably another boss at the end of this because that's how those games work. And it's there's one thing kind of spoiled, just like in the opening cinematic, if you know what you're looking for. So while I knew an event was happening, it still was really exciting to see it actually unfold. And I don't think I mentioned last time I talked about this, but the game runs relatively smooth. I think it's still, I haven't noticed any major slowdowns, maybe once or twice if they have 30 or 40 enemies on, but usually they don't have that many. I did notice some pop-in on like insignificant objects, like, oh, there's this bench that didn't pop in until now. But anything that's important, like an item you can pick up or an enemy, you can see a distance away. So I think they did a good balance on that. And my son's also playing this game or has played this game on the PS4. It definitely seems faster and smoother. It's probably 60 frames versus 30 frames. But if I hadn't seen the PS4, I would have thought the Switch version's runs relatively well.
I have a question. So correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't downloaded it yet. Strikers, if you have the Japanese import copy, you can download the English voice patch for the game, right? You could download the English localization?
I don't know. I downloaded the North American release.
Got it. Because I heard mixed things from people. Some people were, because I have an import version, because I did not think that game was actually going to come to North America, despite how popular Persona is. I waited so long, I can't wait any longer, so I imported it.
North American does have Japanese voices if you want to hear the Japanese.
Right.
English subtitles. Right. I don't know I can't speak to if the Japanese version did.
Well,
I know the Japanese demo did not have that. You were stuck with Japanese only.
Got it. Also, if you're in the Twitch chat right now, you better go check because I just dropped that Apex Legends code. So
there you go, folks. Do it up. If you redeem that code, let us know, folks.
Please let us know. Let us know.
Okay, so I'll get John Blanco's voicemail?
So we'll maybe cue this up. John Blanco was is a huge Bravely Default fan, and all four of us on the podcast were like, no, we're not interested. But we know there's some people who are. So John is our kind of in the field Bravely Default guy who's doing all of our coverage for us. So let's see what John has to say.
Sure.
What's up, dads? This is John Blanco here from the Dads After Dark show. Wanted to give you a little update on Bravely Default 2. Been playing it for 3-4 days now. Hope everyone enjoyed the unboxing and the first look. Once I finished that first look, I did restart the game. Something I like to do. You learn a little bit about it, and then you start from scratch. I spent a lot of time with it over the weekend and had a lot of fun with it. I'm really liking it as a fan of the series. I feel like this is probably the best version of the game. I obviously haven't played through the whole story yet, so we'll see how I feel by the end of it. But this Switch version really does everything well. Really much better animations, things like that. I'm really liking it. Bravely Default, I mean, if you've never played Bravely Default, look, it's not the best RPG that was ever made. What it does right is it does JRPG to perfection. It's a game to relax to. I love grinding in it. And really the best part of it is the job system. You get these, what they call asterisks as you play, which means you can take on jobs. I think there's like a dozen and a half jobs, maybe more in this game. I try to avoid information, but as you play and you earn these jobs, you can have your party of 4 switch between them. So when you start out the game, most of your characters are going to be freelancers. Sometimes when a character joins your party for the first time, in this game, you have a black mage named Elvis. So you have those already. But as you go and you unlock jobs, you can add it. So when you unlock the white mage job, you might decide, here, I want this character to be my white mage. And what makes the game fun is that you can make the characters anything you want. You can have an army, with 3 white mages. You can have all black mages, you can have a bunch of tanks. You can do whatever you want. You do want to keep things out of variety because there's going to be some enemies that really you need to attack with fire or with magic, and others where you want to use swords. And that's what makes this game so fun to grind, is you're not just grinding the level of your characters, but you are grinding their job capabilities. And you're going to make one character a much better black mage. And then what happens is you can take on other jobs, but still retain some of the attributes for that job. So your black mage might become now a warrior, but you can still use fire and blizzard and that sort of stuff. So you can really customize these characters and make them your own. Specifically in Bravely Default 2, we see the concept of allies helping you out, where you can't control them, but they'll come in and heal you or lay out a big attack. That's been pretty nice, especially sometimes when you really need it. The battle system's mostly the same, still great. There are some differences with it that I've noticed. The biggest difference is you used to be able to, I don't know if it's something you wanted, but you used to be able to set all 4 of your characters and say, I want you to attack, I want you to do magic, I want you to go brave, 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 and do this. And now you do that one at a time. So if one of your characters, if it's their turn, you decide what you want to do. And then when you're done, the enemy might attack you. And then another enemy might attack you. And now you go again. So it gives you this ability to be more specific with your attacks, assess the situation, see what the enemy's weaknesses are, enemy health. And whereas in the earlier games, you might do a bunch of attacks, an enemy dies, and now you're fighting a guy that you need to use magic on, but you've, told all your characters to attack. So it's a better system. It makes some of the battles a little longer, and I've noticed a lot of the encounters take longer because there's more enemies that you have to fight. But overall, still enjoying it. Love all the leveling, that sort of thing. Another great thing about Bravely Default is made by Square Enix. They use a lot of the same verbiage as Final Fantasy. So if your character dies, you're going to use a Phoenix down to raise them. Stuff like that. A lot of the magic spells, you have Fire, Pyra, Firaga. So if you've played Final Fantasy games before, a lot of things will be familiar here. But so much do these feel like classic RPGs, whereas Final Fantasy has gone in a whole new direction that we're not going to talk about. And the game won't blow you away.
He's saying anime boys.
Audio or video. Like I said, the animations are much better in this game. The graphics are much smoother. The voice acting is, I think, maybe a little bit better. There's a lot more of it for sure. If you grew up in this style of game, it's just so nice to have. And there's so many quality of life improvements that they've done in this game. You can warp between towns. It's very easy to see which weapons will upgrade your characters. You can buy things and equip them in one shot. All the enemies have energy gauges. It's just a comfortable, familiar RPG to play, and I can't recommend it enough. I'm enjoying my time. Maybe I'll do a few more of these updates before my final review. It'll take me a while. I'm trying to really enjoy this like a fine wine. I'm doing a lot of grinding and leveling early on. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this little update, and hopefully you're giving the game a try. See ya.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see a 30-second review out of this game out of him.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, no way. Well, there's something that he brought up just really quickly. He was talking about the battles feeling longer. I thoroughly appreciate the fact that it's got that fast forward feature on it. I think the original Bravely had that as well. But like just being able to go from encounter to encounter to encounter, click that Y button, fast forward through so many of these different battles. And then in addition to that, there's the repeat button, where if you ended up using all Braves on your first match and you're grinding against like level 1 monsters and you just want to make sure that everything dies instantly, you can click that repeat button and fly through just waves and waves of enemy and level up. And you're going to need to with some of the later bosses that come up. Even in the area I'm in right now, right past the prologue, there are some creatures that I could tell I definitely need to grind in order to get stronger before I could take them down. So, yeah, but he touched on everything. I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
That's great. That's fantastic stuff. I like it. Looks like in our chat, Ebicel has been our lucky winner for the Apex Legends coins provided to us by free product, hashtag what Nintendo.
Free product is fine. You're good. You're good.
Thank you, Roger, for that, and thank you, Nintendo of America, for that as well.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Speaking of Apex Legends, let's go.
Okay,
let's go.
Let's do this.
Now it's time for me
Let's
to nap.
go, folks. Got my Apex hat on, everything. Tim, sporting the Reds. Let's do this. Apex Legends finally came out this week. Tim, you've been playing it. Marty's been playing. I've been playing it. How do you feel about it? What are you feeling?
As we were talking a little bit about it in the pre-show, it's definitely a lot more faster paced game than say Fortnite is. It's like you jump in. There's one match I jumped in and I was immediately killed because I jumped in probably in a bad spot, but it was like there was a bunch of other people there and it was like, okay, first person to find a weapon is going to win. And that's what happened, is basically they got a hold of the weapons and my whole crew died instantly because in that area. But it wasn't as frustrating as Fortnite. I remember going into Fortnite, and the first time I tried playing Fortnite in season 1 or chapter 1, excuse me, I was frustrated. I was like, I'm never coming back here, because I don't play enough. These type of first person shooters, like, like your, what's the other one, that the Modern Warfare ones, Call
of Duty.
Thank you. I've always stayed away from those because anytime I tried going in there, I was immediately killed. I wasn't picking up what you needed to do. But eventually I went into Fortnite and got into that because I went in with somebody who knew what they were doing and helped me along. And I have a feeling this is what I'm going to need here, because anytime I did well in Apex Legends was when someone who knew what they were doing was on our team.
Right.
And could kind of show us the ropes. And they were very, they knew we were noobs. So they, showed us the ropes and said, hey, over here, here's some stuff. Or there was even some kids that were on there that I played with when I was by myself that were like, hey, you need some ammo? And I was like, yeah, I need some, the red, whatever that was.
Yeah.
It was like different,
Sure.
different colors for the different kinds of light and heavy ammo types and all that kind of stuff. When I was like, I need the red one because that's what my color of my gun was showing. And they were like, I think that was the light one. And they said, hey, come in. I got some here for you. So, it was really cool. People didn't they probably knew the Switch players were coming, so they were pretty ready for
they buckled down.
helping us down. But yeah, it's been fun. Been playing with other new people in the community, like Chris. I bumped into him on there, and Simple Monk was on there too, and he was just getting into training, and he was going to try to play, but he was like, "Oh, I got to finish the training mode," and that's where a lot of us were at. We had to get into training, and then Justin, he created the NDADS club. So I'm trying to get to level 10 so I can at least try to join the NDADS club, because right now I'm at level 7 and I need to play some more. But, I got 1 kill and a couple assists, I think. And, but again, it's a learning curve on it, definitely because of the speed of it and getting used to it. And maybe Lifeline isn't the right character for me, but I thought it would be a good one to start because I could be able to be a healer for people, which I did start picking up on what to do there. In fact, there was one time I actually got to deploy my what do you call it, the
healing bot,
the healing, well, not the healing bot, but the big special move that she does.
Yeah,
where she drops the loot for you and stuff like that. I got to do that once, so I was pretty happy with that.
That's good.
But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'll kind of give my insight. Obviously, people know that I have been my level of excitement and hype for this game has been a little bit uncontrollable, some might say.
You've been ready for this game for 3 years.
Yeah, I have, for sure. So I will say this. There are definitely some big bugs in it. There are definitely some big bugs that they do need to squash. And I heard rumor there's a patch coming out in early next week. For example, audio is really janky. There is actually over talking in some of the lobbies. We have servers that have crashed. EA is notorious for really bad servers. If you're using headsets like voice chat and you're connecting, it is horrible.
It's choppy. Yeah,
it's choppy. It's because
I was using my headset during it.
Yeah, it's like I was on a session with a friend today, and I was like, nope, we're not doing this at all. And I was like, we'll play, but we've got to use just the ping system to communicate. It's really bad. But I'm having a great time. I think to your point, Tim, it is a learning curve, and I think the best way to describe it is that it is very much Fortnite smashed together with Overwatch is kind of the way you have to look at it.
Exactly.
So if neither of those are your jam, you might struggle with this. Especially when you look at, when you're forming a duo or trios and they go through that selection screen, which is something I really like is, Tim chooses first, right? And he chooses Lifeline. Okay, cool. And you begin to think of how do you balance somebody? If they're doing this, what's a good offense? What's a good defense? So there's some thought around it. A couple of things that they do so well, that ping system was built so that you don't need chat. And they do just a really crisp job of that I'm really impressed with. Their systems to get in and out of games are pretty fast, especially right now. If you are, and when you talk about the learning curve, one of the pro tips I would say is do not ensure that you have crossplay turned off. Because if you are cross-playing with somebody else, so I had a friend who's on a PC and he connected with me, I got pulled into his lobby, or not his lobby, his side. So we were playing against PC players, so you're getting wrecked. So if you got a friend who's on Xbox or something else who's not new to it and they have a huge amount, you're probably getting wrecked there. So kind of stay in that Switch pool, stay in the kiddie pool for a while. Yeah, build that skill set, feel better about that, move forward, feel comfortable. They are doing a great job right now. They're incentivizing you with double XP for the next 2 weeks. You're buying the battle pass. You're getting 30 levels on that. They've got the Caustic event right now. This is so strategic, right? Next week is Fortnite's new season, and they're doing this kind of big pull right before now. Graphically, it performs really well. I'm really impressed with what Panic Button has done with this game. It is a quick-moving game. It is less than 20 gig download, which is kind of crazy considering on Steam it's 55 gigs. Yeah. So figure that out. Maybe it's because of 4K, 8K res. But I will be very interested in seeing in 3 months when there's some more patches, some more little minor and bug tweaks, how this will look, because I think they're going to firm out. They're going to really squish out a couple of those bugs that are challenging right now. But do not be discouraged. Jump in, have fun. And I think the tagline is play, shoot, die, repeat, or something like that.
Yes.
It is that you just kind of have to learn and you figure out what weapons work. But man, I since it came out on Tuesday, I don't want to tell you how many hours I've put in because it's a really uncomfortable amount. And how many matches I've played, and I'm on level 44 now of my battle pass. I think.
Oh my God. Wow.
and like level 16 on my rankings or whatever it is.
Wow.
So I might have a problem. But
no, you're enjoying it though.
But
That's
we
a
should
good
also
sign.
not be shocked because I'm like I said I had a tweet. I was like, I have Fortnite, I have Overwatch, and I have Apex. Yeah, I'm done. Thanks very much, folks.
It is funny because Fortnite, I enjoy Fortnite, but as I said during the pre-show, Fortnite to me is like the funny costumes and playing for a little bit and then turning it off. Yep. Overwatch to me has always been the the competitive shooter that I have on Switch. I mean, I know like Misclick and a lot of the friends of the show, like they love Splatoon. I'm not really a huge Splatoon person. I like it, but I play Splatoon like I play Fortnite. Overwatch has been my go-to for years. I mean, like since they released it on Switch, I've played it almost every day. I absolutely enjoy it. I love the game on PC. I love the game on Switch. I love being able to know that stuff's carrying over to Overwatch 2 whenever that drops. That's also going to be a Nintendo system. So I'm all in on the Overwatch train. Yeah. And just based on the little bit I played Apex, I played about 3 or 4 matches on stream when it first came out. And I got wrecked right after that training mode as well. But I at least killed somebody in my very first match. So I felt good about that. I got a kill in my first match. And then the second match, I ended up getting 8th. So I was like, all right, I killed my first match and 8th the second one. I was fine. Needless to say, I died immediately in the other 2. And then I was like, I'm calling it quits for the night. However, I had a good time. I feel like on the whole, I'm like Tim. I think that Lifeline's a fun character for me. I like being sort of that support for the time being. I liked the red-haired girl with the gravity powers. I don't know her name. Horizon, I think. Is her name?
Yes. Oh, they gave you the whole unlock code, didn't they?
Oh yeah, I got the full champion edition. I'm good to go. I got everybody. But I like her. I think she's fun too. She's been fun to play with. But outside of those two, I'm just still learning. I'm still learning. I think it's going to be a while, but I could definitely see myself falling into sort of playing it every night if I get a good group to play with. So you might get one more added to that Nintendo Dads Club. So
Justin, I hate to admit this. You're talking about how you were like playing so many hours, but I put in like probably $80 in coins. In there already to try to for skins and to buy up on the championship.
Tim,
I was like,
Tim,
I'm all in on it
dude,
too.
You can unlock those things. You do know that, right?
No, I mean it was like I had to get the Lifeline suit thing with the angel wings.
All right. Okay.
So
$80. It's been out 2 days.
Well, I did the $60 level and then the $20 thing for the Lifeline skin.
Got it. That's fair.
So
gotcha.
So, but I figured if I spent that much now for the coins, I would get the bonus because I knew I would probably spend them anyway. So I was like, let me just load up on the coins now.
Yeah.
And I was playing a couple levels, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to be playing this. So if I was buying the game, it would be a $60 game. I'd buy it. So
right on.
I will say, oh my gosh, who is Bloodhunter? That is not a character's name. What is the Bloodhound?
The wrong guy.
I know. I was like, tell me about Pokemon, Roger. I don't know.
Cool. So Piplup.
Yeah, right. I would say if you're looking for a good character to jump into, Bloodhound is a really good one. Because what he does, his active is if you hit L, it's a sonar, so it detects anyone that's around them and marks them. So it's a really good of kind of like hey, is somebody around? Yes or no. So if you want to try and hide, and it like marks them so you can see them coming. So it gives you. So I use Bloodhound a lot. I think he's really effective. But I also think Roger, your component there of like the thing that I really like about it is actually just playing with people. It's the social part. I love and that's the reason I love playing Fortnite as well. Is it's like I get on the call with my friends, and it's 90 minutes of connecting and shooting people, and it's fun.
Yeah.
Tim,
by the way, the Lifeline thing with her L, what is that? I still couldn't figure out what she does with the because she drops this like purple umbrella, and I'm just like, I don't understand what it is.
Might be
a healing thing. Yeah.
I know she does. She does give the robot thing, but then there was this like special thing where I was able to throw it out and drop it, and it was like maybe it was a grenade thing. I don't know, but
I'll double check.
See, I'm still learning this stuff.
That's okay. Yeah.
No, I am too. Don't worry, Tim.
I like it. Tim, what else have you been playing?
I've been trying to just play light games, things that I can jump into because I'm waiting for Rise, Monster Hunter Rise. Because I know that's going to be the time I'll be spending a lot of time in there.
Can't wait.
But I won't go through all the games I've been, touching in. The one I wanted to mention was Fuser. It's one that came out a while ago, as the Harmonix's latest rhythm app.
Yeah.
And I've been playing it because, again, I can just jump in and play a lot of these, EDM songs that I know a lot of people aren't into, but I like some good EDM dance songs, and I can remix them, and even some pop songs. And it's a lot of fun. I just go into the freestyle thing. I haven't even played the career mode yet, but I go into freestyle and just mix up different things. And then I definitely want to do career mode because I'm sure I'll be able to unlock more music to do the freestyle stuff. But it's been a lot of fun, and it's a fun go-to. And it's like you said, Roger, there's games you like to go and lay down in bed and play and stuff like that. And this is one I just go in, I'll put my headphones on and just rock out to my mixes and stuff.
Right on.
That's awesome.
It's been a lot of fun.
Nice.
Fuser, yeah.
Yep.
Fuser.
Yep. I will plug one more game that I have been playing, and Roger might be actually up your alley for short games. Sea of Solitude. There it is. Sea of Solitude, Director's Cut.
Yeah.
Really good. It is a story-driven game. And is a very cool kind of shaded art style associated with it.
That's the 2D BioShock game, right? Is the one I'm thinking of. It's not a BioShock game by any means, but like it's the little scuba diver guy. Am I thinking of?
No, you're thinking of Tim. That's your game. That's your
Subnautica.
Nope.
No,
nope, not Subnautica.
Shinsekai into the
depths.
Into the depths.
That's it. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
This is from EA. Came out last year as an EA Originals, 2020, and the idea around it is that like it's this girl who is like alone in a boat, and the kind of story starts off, and then there's this creature that you encounter that kind of looks like the girl. And so it's the story driven around it is actually like depression and isolation and, kind of dealing with some family traumas and trying to understand it. The VO is really well done. It's a compelling story. It's very artistic, I think. Again, I think they were nominated for some awards for the Game Awards of like stories with purpose or stories with meaning or games with meaning or something like this. Just a story-driven, emotional kind of journey, which I think is always really cool. So check out Sea of Solitude, Director's Cut. It's like $20 in the eShop.
Nice.
So definitely kind of value and worthy. So I would say definitely check that one out.
Before we leave what we've been playing, I was
Fuser and Sea of Solitude both look good. I just literally put both of them on my wish list on the eShop. Nice. I just did.
Wanted to mention something else about Persona 5 Strikers. When you were talking about some of the problems you heard you saw with Apex, I don't remember if I talked about it last time, so I'll mention it again anyway, just in case. I noticed it when I did like the first 2 hours live stream. Sometimes the character audio was so quiet compared to the background, it'd be hard to hear.
Oh.
So I asked my son, who played the PS4 version, if he had the same problem there. So wondering if it was something that's Switch only, or maybe it was just me. He goes, "No, I heard it too."
Huh,
so
weird.
it's something with their audios.
Is there an option to adjust it where you could bump up the character audio and bump down the background audio? That must be an option.
Know, but it's not consistently bad. Like there could be 5 people talking in a room, 4 of them are talking normal, and then Yosuke sounds like he's whispering.
Weird.
And then in the next scene, it'd be Ryuji's whispering, but everyone else is fine. So it jumps around.
Nice.
So that's the only other issue that I noticed with this game.
Right. Nice.
And it was more early on. I haven't noticed it later on in the game.
All right. Let's good stuff there. Let's move over to our community spotlight, shall we? Very regal. And of course, Roger, you've been here before. You know what this is all about. This is a good opportunity for you to tell us what's going on in your wonderful world, promote us to all the wonderful things that you do, and give us some highlights.
Yeah, so currently I am actually doing my first ever watch through of Naruto. This is an anime series that I did not grow up with. I absolutely love One Piece. I grew up with One Piece, Pokemon, all that jazz, but all of my friends were into Naruto, and I sort of been holding off on catching up to it. But currently I am doing a watch through of the entire show of Naruto, all 800 episodes, skipping filler. We are about to hit the end of part 1. So we're about to move into Shippuden, which is like the second half of the series. And it's only been a month and a half. And we blazed through part 1. So we've been flying through it every Thursday on my YouTube channel. I've been uploading reaction, recap highlights of my favorite moments from this watch through. And then, of course, in addition to that, I've been playing a lot of games on my Twitch channel. My YouTube channel is still stricken until the 13th. Due to that copyright strike I got with the solo leveling read-throughs. But thankfully...
Seems like it went forever.
It feels like it went forever, but thankfully it is almost over, and I'll be back to streaming all my regular Nintendo games and streaming, all my regular happy little chill streams, anime stuff, all that jazz on YouTube in addition to on Twitch. But now the nice thing is that because of that copyright strike, I now have like a really active audience on both. And so people can look forward to my live streams on Twitch every Friday, Saturday, and Monday, and my live streams on YouTube every Tuesday and Sunday with the video post of the Naruto things going up on Thursday. So technically my break day is Wednesday and Thursday. Everything is squared away with me and Brandon for the Naruto stuff like on Monday, Tuesday of the week before. So yeah, check it out. Thank you again so much for having me. This is always an absolute blast. I love being on Nintendo Dads. Every time I get the chance to be on, it's great. And I'm so happy we're able to move it around and talk Pyra, Mythra, Pokemon, everything. It's a blast.
I've been watching your Attack on Titan highlight.
Oh my God!
Clips that you're uploading on YouTube. I'm watching the episode first, and then I'm watching what your reaction.
My reaction highlights.
Yeah, because I'm not a manga reader. I watched your 137. So,
sure.
But other than that, I know nothing about the manga.
The manga, it's funny because, the manga ends next month. And I've been doing Attack on Titan on my YouTube channel. Jesse knows this. I've been doing Attack on Titan longer than I've been doing One Piece on my YouTube channel, which is my primary thing, is my One Piece reviews. I was covering Attack on Titan back when I was doing Pokemon Wi-Fi ranking battles to the top with Pokemon X and Y during the VG Tribune days. So Attack on Titan has been there from the very beginning with me, and it's going to end with me here next month is the final chapter. The anime season's phenomenal right now, and I think the manga is coming to a head in a very unique and interesting way, and I could not be happier. So yeah, if you like anime or Nintendo, make sure to check me out.
Have you gone into the Nintendo manga stuff yet? Have those two worlds crossed over yet?
I literally have the Splatoon manga volume over there. I know there's the Animal Crossing one that's coming out a little bit later in the year. I'll be getting that one from Viz.
Yeah.
And I think they just canceled the ARMS graphic novel.
Yes, they did. I got the Super Mario one for Christmas.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I've got the Mario Kun.
Yeah.
Yeah, Super Mario Kun, the little the ones that are in Famitsu. That have been compiled into the manga volume.
I think so.
Yeah, the goofy little. Yeah. Cool.
I had never read a manga before. It's been a very interesting experience.
Have you been enjoying it?
Yes, I have been.
Good.
But also I was like, very interesting stuff going on here. So yeah. I may have pre-ordered the Animal Crossing one already too. I don't know why. I blacked out, and all of a sudden it was in my Amazon cart and it was checked out. So I don't know what happened.
I'll need to look into that one. But I pre-ordered like that. There's like this treasure chest box set of Zelda manga.
Oh yeah.
I pre-ordered that. I think that's like October.
Those are really good.
Jesse,
too.
you're gonna have to send me the link to that because I was just about to ask. I've been eyeballing those Zelda ones.
You should. They're good.
Okay.
There's I have the Twilight Princess one, and I think the retelling of one of the Oracle games. Or it's,
yes.
I think that's the one I have. They're very well done. They're really good adaptations, manga adaptations of the Zelda games. They're great if you just want to like sit down and look at some cool art and binge through the series again. It's a lot of fun. So highly recommended.
We'll need to share Amazon links when we're done with the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Because I'd be interested in the Animal Crossing one too.
For sure.
Well, Roger, we're not done with you quite yet. I promise that we're going to get here. Although I see the chat is all of a sudden now blowing up about questions about manga and questions about One Piece. So lots going on in there. Someone was saying, what does Roger think's going to happen in One Piece this week?
I have been steering clear. Apparently, there's like some massive spoiler about this week's chapter that people have been saying, like, stay off social media. So I literally have not been on social media outside of like looking and answering my happy birthday messages, and that's been it. So yeah, I'll find out on Sunday. I'm assuming we're going to get to find out who's in the room with the Scabbards, is my guess. I think it's going to be a big surprise character. So
Aaronator 1992 is saying yes, stay off of Twitter in bold
there you
letters.
go. See,
So
that's
that
fine.
is-
There you go.
Okay. Here's another great question from Andros. What Nintendo series would you guys like to see made into an anime?
Oh, Xenoblade, probably.
Oh yeah, well I'm gonna say Metroid.
Oh, Metroid would be amazing. Actually,
Yeah, I'd like to see that. That'd be cool.
Ooh, Metroid
That,
anime would be
I would
great.
be all over that if that happens.
Yeah,
I think we've talked about this before. Of kind
There
of
was
like
there
the
was
castle-
one. Like it was like I think I have it like
the manga. There was a Metroid manga. The one where
I think I
Ridley
have it on
is
my
talking.
iPad.
Yeah. So the exact thing Jesse's talking about is Ridley literally says to a baby Samus after just literally eating her parents in front of her, he goes, "Would you like to join mommy and daddy in my belly?" And this is in a canon piece of Metroid lore from Nintendo.
Sweet.
Ridley says to baby Samus, "Join mommy and daddy in my belly."
I
So
want
that's
that. I want to link to that
horrifying
too.
Wow.
Yeah.
I want to read that.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever finished reading it. I need to go back and
Well, you got to go read it now. That's your
Yeah,
that's your thing.
I do think like for an anime series, very much kind of like in the way that
Yeah.
Netflix has done Castlevania. Man, I'd love to see that like a Metroid.
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
Heck
that'd be
yeah.
pretty sweet.
I agree
Yeah.
with that. I concur.
Yeah. Someone's saying dark as heck too. That'd be that'd be
Oh
great.
yeah.
An Animal Crossing movie. Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
That's right.
See some stuff
Yeah,
going on.
There is an Animal Crossing
one,
movie. There's-
there
yeah.
was one done like around when the Wii version was.
It was like around City Folk. Yeah, it was after City
Yeah.
Folk came out. Yeah.
I would like to see a. Go ahead, Jesse.
I don't think that ever had an English localization other
I don't think
than
so.
a fan sub,
No.
and that's how I've seen it.
Yeah, I'd like to see a Five Nights at Tom Nook's, right? Where it's just like a survival, just gets real crazy.
His
You know what I'm
nephews
saying?
would be creepy.
Yeah,
Breaks
like,
out
I
the
think-
axe. Me, mommy, me, ma.
Yep.
So you got
Like-
you got Zipper that's half decayed.
Yeah, right.
I think there's a whole
Buddy
different
Day's coming
channel.
up, so
Yeah.
Where's that YouTube video? I'm sure somebody
right.
made it.
I'm sure
Oh,
somebody has.
I'm sure
yeah.
somebody has. Yeah. A couple other questions we're going to kick off to. Warren asks, what is one classic game you have heard good things about yet have never played? Warren says for him, it's Secret of Mana.
Oh, interesting.
I
What
will.
is a classic?
I will give you some time here, Roger.
Yeah.
Mine. I'm gonna get just lit up for this one.
Uh-oh.
Chrono Trigger.
Oh, I will buy it for you on Steam right now. I swear to God, I will
Here's
buy
the
it
thing.
for you on Steam.
I have it. I had a fan. I think this question came out a long time ago. A fan sent me a DS copy.
Oh my God, that's the best version too. What
I
are you
have
doing?
the
Go
DS
play
copy.
this. Why
I
are you
just-
on a pot?
I
I'm
just-
done. Bye everybody. Good night. I'm done. Go play. Go play. I'm done. That was a great
There you
show. Go play.
Yes.
Oh,
that is-
come on, Roger.
that
You
is my
can't talk with the
cardinal-
no
that is-
Mario games or that you don't like
That's my-
Mario.
That is my cardinal sin. And everyone is so. And like, wasn't it this week? Chrono Trigger was like 28 or something like this. Or some anniversary.
Chrono
Like
Trigger is
everyone.
one of the best RPGs of all time. Like I think it also really holds up today. There's some of those old RPGs that haven't aged gracefully. A Chrono Trigger is just as good today as it was back in the day. It's iconic.
16-bit graphics palette just holds up.
And not
Yes.
just the graphics, but the gameplay itself, like the way the battles work out, the duo attacks with Frog and everything. Oh, it's so good. It's the best.
I
Welcome back.
walked away to go grab my case. I was like, I've got my DS case here. I'll put it in to show you. I don't know where the game is now.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I like my kids. This is why you don't have kids. I think they have it.
They might have taken it.
They've been taken. I got to go figure that out. Maybe
They said Dad doesn't deserve this.
yeah. Maybe they're like, Dad, we finished this game for you. You should play it.
Right. I think I have one. I have never played the Oracle Legend of Zelda games ever.
Oh.
I've never even I've played maybe like 5 minutes of them at a demo at like a Toys R Us, but I've never actually played them. And I've heard nothing but good things, but I'm kind of waiting for them to eventually remake it, which is why I'm not touching it now.
Okay.
Yeah, I've tried playing them back when they were new and when they were released as Virtual Console on the 3DS, and I still can't get into them.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of in the same boat as you.
I didn't play them either, and I want to. I have them
we're
on
all
my
on the
3DS.
No Oracle train. Yeah.
Yeah, I have them on my 3DS. I just
I
never
got
got
my
around to playing
3DS
them.
also, actually. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my answer to this question might be Octopath Traveler.
Oh, you guys are killing me. Chrono
And again,
Trigger. You're doing this on purpose because you had me on. You said Chrono Trigger and Octopath Traveler.
Yeah, and again, it's a game I bought on day one and just never got around to it. Mainly because I played the demo and it something about it left a bad taste in my mouth, and so I didn't. And knowing it was, we talked about this earlier, a long game. I didn't want to dedicate time to it because I had other things I wanted to play, and it's just fallen off my list.
Oh, at the very least, just go listen to the soundtrack on YouTube. Because the soundtrack in Octopath Traveler is one of the best of all time. Like, legitimately, one of my top 10 favorite video game OSTs. The music, the battle theme, the dun-dun, 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 dun-dun. Oh, please, go listen to it.
Mecha Dragon says I'm going to do the same thing with Project Triangle. No, I'm not buying that game. I don't like... I'm not a strategy. I don't like strategy games.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
I don't like Fire Emblem.
Fair. Totally fair. Totally fair. I'm like, that's up my alley. You're giving me a Fire Emblem, Final Fantasy Tactics, Chrono Trigger type Octopath Traveler game. I saw that Project Triangle. I'm like, that's my game of the year next year. I don't even have to look at it. I know it's my game of the year. It's my game of the decade. I can't wait.
Nice. Tim, did you respond?
No, not yet. It kind of goes along with what we just talked about earlier in the week when we were the three of us. Well, Justin, you weren't on there, but Marty was on there on the underpowered guys. They're actually in our chat.
Yeah.
But we were on their show, and I talked about how I didn't get to play many N64 games, like single player games, because I had friends who had it, so I bought the PS1. So because I wanted to play PS1 games. And also, too, I was so turned off by Mario 64. I did not want to play that game. I eventually did play it, so that's not my game. But I did miss out on some other games. Like, I did not play Banjo-Kazooie games. I didn't play any of those.
Wow.
So if you want to say any of those are the classics that I didn't get to play, I didn't get to play that. Or Perfect Dark. I never got to play that.
Well, if you're able to get a hold of an Xbox or Xbox One, that's on Game Pass at least.
Yes.
Banjo-Kazooie is the fun thing. I'm actually going to bring this up, Tim. This might actually encourage you to play Banjo-Kazooie sooner rather than later.
Okay.
I played 3D All-Stars with Mario. I instantly went to Sunshine because I hadn't played that game in like over 2 decades, and I wanted to see if it held up. It did. I loved it. It was better than I expected. And then I know I'm going to like Galaxy, so I've held off playing Galaxy until I eventually get the time to do it. And so I went at second, and I beat 64. And I beat it, but I was like, man, the camera on this is killing me. And it hasn't really aged that well.
Right.
And there's aspects of it that obviously I have a lot of nostalgia for, but it's something that for me personally, it just didn't click. And I own my original N64, Banjo-Kazooie 64 Mario game, everything. I got them all. They're all hooked up on my TV in my main room. And I figured after I beat Mario 64, I'm like, I'm just for the hell of it, I'm going to put Banjo-Kazooie in. Because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe those N64 era platformers didn't age very well. And I got to tell you, literally did not plan to play. And I got all the way up to Bubble Goop Swamp in the course of 3 hours in Banjo-Kazooie. Okay. I just sat down, binged it. That's about halfway through the game, basically, to put that in perspective for you. I adore Banjo-Kazooie. The humor is still funny. It's a great game. You're going to enjoy it. I'm looking forward to you playing it. Yeah.
If I can play it on, because I do have xCloud with, if they have it available there. I don't know if
it should be. I think it is. I think it's available on Game Pass.
Okay, if it's Game Pass there, maybe I'll have to look at it.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, the whole Rare Replay is on Game Pass.
There you go. You got to play it.
There we go. I'll have to check it out then.
Uh-huh.
Nice. Excellent. All right. Tim, do you got the doc open?
I do have the doc open, yes.
I was going to say, do you want to read the next question from Mecha Dragon? This is our final question.
From Mecha Dragon, the original Elvis. Mm-hmm. So that's his name, actually. So that's.
I was like, has he been playing Bravely Default 2 as well?
Yep. He's been saying that's his name whenever we mention the game. So
that's it.
So was listening to the Dad's After Dark podcast recently, and they answered a question that'll be fun one for you guys to answer as well. If you all were stranded on a deserted island, what 5 Switch games will you all collectively bring together? You all can only bring 5 games together as a group, not separately, but we all have to talk about it. So pretty much one each and one extra one.
Okay, so we all agree Smash
there's
is
no
one
way
of them,
we're going
for
to be
sure.
agreeing on anything because we all have different tastes in games.
I don't know. I think we could agree on Smash Brothers. I think Smash is all encompassing. I think we could agree on Smash Bros. Is one of them.
Yeah,
that seems like a safe bet.
Mario Kart.
That'll be our number 5.
That number 5. That's number 5.
Mario Kart.
Mario Kart's a safe one. I think that's a good bet. Sure. I would throw Animal Crossing in the ring.
Yeah,
would be my next choice. Yeah.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Yeah, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
And
Smash
sorry, which
Brothers,
one did you
Animal
say?
Crossing.
Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing.
Okay.
Yeah. So we got 2 more.
Jesse.
He wants a pit cross game, right?
I was leaning that way, but
Oh, I got a good one. Jesse, I got a good one you and I will agree on. I got a good one. You want a pit cross game? I like puzzle games. We're going to cheat the system. I am choosing the Super Nintendo Entertainment System Online that you get. I'm choosing that for
I think that
all
was
of us.
disallowed because of no Wi-Fi.
It's not
because of no Wi-Fi being on the island.
We put on airplane mode. We know we're going to get stranded. We put on airplane mode. We have it forever.
Okay.
That way we have Super Metroid. We've got Picross. We got everything on there. We got Panel de Pon, Puyo Puyo,
SNES.
everything. That's a good one. That's a good
Switch.
yeah.
Nintendo Switch
If I were going to
Online.
pick a game, I would probably lean towards like Dragon Quest 11.
That's a good choice
Even
too.
though it's a one-player game, it's not something we'd be able to share, but it's a time-consuming game. So
Yes.
Now let's assume I have another theory here, guys. Let's assume that Marty is stranded with us here as well. All right.
Okay.
I think we might need to give him Mega Man because if we have to hear him whine about how he doesn't have Mega Man, it's going to
Mega Man
drive me
2?
bonkers.
Super Nintendo Online, right? Doesn't that have a Mega Man
It's
game?
Mega
on it?
Man, but that's not Super Nintendo. The Nintendo one does have the
Oh,
Super
you're right.
Nintendo.
You're right.
He likes his Mega Man 2. I just don't want to hear him whine the entire time. You know what other great game would be? Overcooked.
Overcooked would be a good one. It'd be a good one. Overcooked's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then, I guess you can have the Mega Man collection.
Oh, actually, okay. Then if we're doing that, I would say choose Mega Man Legacy Collection 1 because that includes Mega Man 2 and Mega Man 3, both of which
That's a
are
great
some of the
point.
best Mega Man games. Marty would be happy. We'd have multiple titles in there.
Yeah. I think we have. So we're looking. I'm looking at this list here right now. You've got 6
7.
games on 7 games. I think you have to lose. I think you lose Mario Kart 8
Fine.
Deluxe.
Cool. Buy
I
Mario
think you
Kart.
take that off. So we have Super Smash Brothers, Animal Crossing, SNES Online,
Yep.
Dragon Quest 11,
Yeah.
Overcooked, and the Mario Legacy. We're still we're one too high.
Maybe I don't really want to. I think I'm with Jesse on this. I don't think we get rid of Dragon Quest. I think we need like a good long RPG.
Yep.
I would vote Overcooked probably of the
Yeah,
6
I
that are
think
there.
so.
I would vote Overcooked. But that's a good choice.
Yeah. 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 All right. There you go.
Boom.
So
Great stuff.
our final list is Smash Ultimate, Animal Crossing, SNES, NSO,
It's cheating, I
DQ11,
don't care.
DQ11, and Mega Man Legacy Collection 1.
That's great. That is a solid group of titles.
Man.
I did end up 100%ing Mario Super Picross on that.
That game is so fun, by the way, too.
G Akers makes a great comment. He's like, y'all forgot Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild. Well,
I said this on Tuesday. When we guested with Underpowered, is we talked about our top 5 Zelda games, and I put Breath of the Wild as number 2, not 1, because while yes, it was an amazing game, I don't think that's a game I ever want to play again.
I was literally just going to say that, Jesse, because I think to me, the magic of Breath of the Wild is that first time you're playing it and discovering everything. I think once you've beaten it after that, that experience is like unrivaled for me in terms of Zelda games.
I'm still playing it. I haven't beat it yet.
Wow.
He never finished it.
Because to me, I like
Fine wine. It's a really fine wine.
I love Breath of the Wild. I really do. But I'm right there with you. I think that first experience, get everything the first time, will be unmatched forever. I think until Breath of the Wild 2 comes out. I think it's the kind of thing where it was the magic of discovering it for the first time, the story for the first time, the music for the first time, first time you run into a guardian, first time you try the physics stuff. I don't necessarily think I would choose that.
First time you try to deflect a guardian with a pot and fail.
Right, and fail.
Because you're not going to be
get
successful
killed.
the first time.
That's true.
And I tell you right now, if Metroid Prime Trilogy was out at all, I would have been yelling for that to be on the
You're
island.
right. Yeah, I'd be there with you.
Yeah.
But that's our list.
Those are some great questions.
solid,
right?
yeah.
And before we head out or anything like that, I do want to mention that for our community, we are doing a Retro Rewind live open discussion tomorrow night, 8:30 Central. It's through Retro Logic. So if you listen to them, that's another one of our family podcasts. They do a lot of the retro talk and stuff over there. They've been playing the Sonic game. Sonic 2, I think it was.
Nice.
So with the community, and so it's an open discussion. People can RSVP if you haven't already. So go to the Retro Logic side or in our Retro Rewind channel and Discord and hit up Dan there and be able to chit chat with him about what you've been playing in the Retro Rewind stuff.
Nice. Excellent.
Sonic 2 is a great one too, and the Sega Ages version that's on Switch is fantastic because it has built in the Sonic 2 and Knuckles and all. It's just great. It's great. I played that over the summer when I was quarantining in Vegas with Reagan's family. We were there for like 3 months when it was really bad in LA. And I have a lot of memories that are now ingrained with COVID and Sonic where they're like tied in. Because I was playing that much like how I said I was playing 7-bed here. When we were quarantining over there, I would go to bed relatively early, like around like 8. And I would pull out the Switch in bed, and I would literally just play Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 on Sega Ages on the Switch and bum rush through that. I did those 2 games, and I 100%ed Star Wars Episode 1 Racer that summer as well.
Oh, nice.
On Switch, because they recently put that on Switch, and I got through the entire thing. First place, everywhere, unlocked every guy.
That's the game I blamed. I blamed that game for breaking my OG Joy-Cons. Because it didn't do the drift.
Sure,
it was actually it disconnected Bluetooth, even though it was connected side by side. It was like all of a sudden
that does feel really fun when you're playing that and you have like the 2 what's it called, Joy-Cons there.
Yes,
and you actually feel like you're pod racing with it. It's great. Yeah.
It just like all of a sudden my Bluetooth stopped working, and I have no idea to this day what happened. So
too bad.
But yeah, I did like that game too.
Yeah, really nice.
Excellent stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a show. Before we go, Roger, thank you for being here. It is always so great to hang out with you. We
always a pleasure.
It.
Always,
man. It is absolutely fantastic. Folks, a couple quick announcements I want to make. Hey, first and foremost, thanks very much for your support over on YouTube. We are over 5,000 subscribers. Thank you.
Whoa,
thank you.
awesome.
Yeah, we're like almost 5,300 now. Thank you so much.
All right.
We continue to see almost 1,000 people now on Twitch for our follows. So thank you everyone for your support. We appreciate the love. I want to mention that Tim, Marty, and Jesse were guests on the Underpowered podcast, episode 50, which is scheduled to go like the same day as this one on Friday. And they discussed the top 5 Zelda games. So tune into that. Make sure it's such a great opportunity. We're actually going to have that team over working with us in the coming weeks as well, which we're excited about. Hey, guys, did you know that we have merch over on TeePublic? Well, we sure do. And by the way, we still have the Gaming for Guru merch available there, too, with 100% of those proceeds going to Bobby's GoFundMe page. Awesome. Unfortunately, despite his passing, there are still funeral costs and hospital costs that need to be supported. And we have that merchandise there. Again, 100% of those proceeds go to support him. So thank you for everyone who's doing that. We greatly appreciate it. We will continue to have that store up for you to support that content as well. Big thanks. Yeah, there we go. Buttons as well. The Gaming for Guru button. Man, that is sweet. Tim, I love that. Big thanks to our Patreon producers, Chris Mears, Dave Ernsberg, Antonio Contrario, and Chris Warren. Thank you so much. If you want to check out our stuff, head over to nintendodads.org. That includes our latest YouTube videos, tweets, podcasts, links to our Patreon page, as well as our Nintendo Dads merch shop as well. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube. Just type in the words Nintendo Dads in the search algorithm and you're going to find us. We own that really, really well. So please, and of course you're there, like, subscribe, give give us all that good stuff. We love your feedback. We love hearing from you. So you can do a couple things. You can email us directly at nintendodads@gmail.com, or you can call in and send us a voice text, right? A voicemail to 929-25-NDADS or 929-256-3237. Big thanks to OC Remix for these sweet tunes that you're hearing right now. They're so good, so good. And of course, hey, if you're listening to this podcast, go to your podcast catcher of choice. That is, of course, like CastBox, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or Spotify. You find us, subscribe, leave 4 or 5 star reviews, nothing less than 4 or 5, and just say, this show is amazing. We love you. That's all we want. And if you want to just slag on another podcast, go over to Mega Dads and tell them that they're horrible. You can give them 1-star reviews. We appreciate you. For myself, for Jesse, Tim, Roger, Marty, who's not here, be well, be kind, be brave. Have a fantastic day. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
I don't know what animal this is or what Pokemon this is,